Back to another day, another episode of The Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30 and Still Gaming, and on today's show, we're going to be talking lots about Battlefield 6 launch on Friday and what happened over the weekend. We're going to talk about Arc Raiders, where it says Arc Raiders reveals unique way it deals with progression resets. We're also going to talk about, where's the last one we have to talk about here? We got Battlefield, we got Arc Raiders, and we got one more. Where's the last one I'm looking for? Dear Lord, I can't even find the last one I wanted to talk about. Oh, Borderlands, but I can't find my article on it. We're going to talk about Borderlands. Someone was playing so many hours, okay, in Borderlands. It says, I want to know what sort of odds I'm trying to beat when I'm grinding a game for 150 hours and over 3,000 boss kills later, and a superfan has worked out the Borderlands 4 disappointing low drop rate, which I talked about months and months and months ago. So obviously this is just one man's perspective, so we'll talk about that as well. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We just cover news stories. I read them for the first time on stream, give you my thoughts and opinions, then get your thoughts and opinions from the chat. What's going on, chat? Good morning. What's going on, Eclipse? Big Mo, Para, what's going on? El Nini, Kylo Green, Ray, Roic, Sarge, what's going on? Good morning. Travis, good morning. All right, so let's start off with Battlefield 6, okay? So Battlefield 6 came out, and it actually had a pretty smooth launch. There were people that bought the game on EA launcher, and they couldn't play the game, so there was that. There was long queues, but the long queues 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, even though it said you were 268,000th in the queue, it went by pretty fast, right? So because of the stuff that was happening, Battlefield 6 hands out free battle passes to some players after EA outage. So if you guys like what I do, like I said, we do this on Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. It says Battlefield 6 hands out free battle passes to some players after EA outage. So Battlefield 6 players hit by an EA outage will get a free seasonal pass as developer investigates a game not released Steam warning, okay? So EA and Battlefield Studios are handling a Battlefield 6 freebies to handing out players affected to the outage of the first day of release, which prevented those to hit from getting into the action several hours. Those who also purchased Battlefield 6 via the EA app were also faced with downtime that kept some out of the game altogether, with certain people being told they needed to purchase the DLC in order to play. Meanwhile, that's what EA would love, by the way. Be like, oh, you can't play the game, you have to buy the DLC first, right? So meanwhile, some Steam users have been met with the confusion warning of Battlefield 6 isn't yet available when trying to download it. It seems fair to call that the day one launch of Battlefield 6 a success, along with the arousing Battlefield 6 review hailing that it's a triumphant return in the multiplayer giant that has already secured itself in a place amongst Steam's elite. Now, you could... Congratulations, right? Congratulations. I said something to Paul Tassi over the weekend on Twitter, right? They solidified themselves, and it's very successful, and it beat COD easily, he said. And I said, well, I wouldn't say easily, considering they put 4 years, 4 studios, hundreds of millions of dollars, and they've lost every single time in the existence of Battlefield. But sure, congratulations to EA for actually coming out with a Battlefield game that's actually working on day one, right? Now, this is also amazing, right? A lot of people are excited that it's working, and this is the baseline. It should work day one, and it's still not working day one because they are still missing stuff we'll get to a little bit later, okay? It says, after a lull of 2042 and Battlefield 6 reclaimed a spot amongst the best first-person shooter games and throw down a serious gauntlet to Call of Duty ahead of Black Ops 7 release date, yet it hasn't been completely smooth sailing, okay? It says, today we're experiencing an outage of EA app and prevented some of the players who pre-ordered Battlefield 6 from accessing the game. Battlefield 6, Battlefield Studio writes, We know this can be frustrating, so we wanted to offer you an apology with perks. It says the fix was also already rolled out, and you can also now be able to play as normal, although not before Respawn head Vince Impella, suggested affected users on X that they also should refund and buy on Steam. Imagine the guy who created the game, the head director, is like, yeah, EA is so screwed that you should return it on EA and then go buy it on the other platform, right? Obviously, they don't care where you buy it, okay? Obviously, they don't have to give a cut to Steam if you buy it on EA, but they want you to buy it no matter what. So he's like, yeah, return it on EA, and we'll take the loss, but go buy it on Steam, which then helps the Steam numbers because then it looks like Steam is, even higher. And when people look at a number, they're like, oh, big number, successful game, so on and so forth. So while also saying, I've yelled about EA app people. He says, as for those who were also met with downtime, Battlefield Studios has a 2-part gift. Okay, those who are affected by the outage will receive a 12 hardware boosters and 12 career boosters via in-game inbox this weekend. I don't like the boosters. I get there's boosters because, let's say majority of people, okay, have lives and jobs and don't play 8 to 12 hours a day like streamers do, okay, or people that do this for a living. So the boosters help them level up faster because while someone's there for 12 hours, you're at work for 12 hours over the week or whatever, and it's going to take you a really long time to upgrade. But I hate that they have boosters in this game because it just shows that they've developed the game to be very grindy, and to give you boosters is to help you, not feel the pain of grind. But anyway, so that's another downside of boosters for me. So it says the 6 guns attachment. Additionally, they'll also get full access to the seasonal battle pass. If you purchase the Phantom Edition, which comes with current battle pass included, you'll also instead be granted a Season 2 offering as well. It says the team says that it's also aware of ongoing Battlefield 6 game not released Steam warning message being shown on some players that also downloaded the multiplayer. It suggests that the potential workaround opening a properties menu via Steam library and then unticking both Battlefield 6 multiplayer HD marker and also Battlefield multiplayer marker DLC. So there you go. So the developer also looking into the issue of preventing some players from receiving their in-game rewards from Phantom Edition, the open beta rewards, as well as the Road to Battlefield 6 rewards. It says it's provided an update once this has been resolved. So there's the rough start for them over on their own app. Okay. Respawn CEO Vince Zampella complains about the EA app and suggests players go to Steam instead, which we already talked about in the other one. Battlefield 6 launched just hours ago. This is on Friday, and players have already recreated Call of Duty map shipment in Portal. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this. Okay, now I have two videos. I have 2 videos I can show you. One is from our buddy the Kingard. Let me see if I can get this one, because Kingard had one, and I thought this was funny. And this is not for me to show you. Oh, look, it's broke, it's buggy, it's no. This is for me to show you that this is exactly what's going to happen for a bit anyway. And you're going to have to go through a bunch of garbage to try to find something cool in the portal. Now, this is why I don't like certain things as far as is this it? The future of Battlefield. This is the one for Space Invaders, but we have another one. That Kingard had. Yeah, here it is. Okay, I took this clip from Kingard's from video. Let me show you this.
Good.
Okay, so this is Kingard. He was playing it on Friday on opening day, on launch. Okay, so let me set this up a second. So he was going into Portal, okay, to try to see what it was, and there was the shipment map, which is from Call of Duty. Okay, now I'm not saying because of the Call of Duty map. But this is exactly what people, path of least resistance, right? And this is why I think a lot of people are like, oh, Portal's cool, right? There's going to be cool things in Portal. People are going to make really cool things. But again, this is a Battlefield game. And I feel like this right here, you'll see in a second, this is going to run rampant because people want path of least resistance and whatnot to try to upgrade their guns faster, level up faster. Not that leveling has really anything to do except for unlocking weapons and stuff, but certain weapons have, hit harder or are just better than the standard weapons. But here we go.
It's actually put me in. Whoa, what the? What is this, Liberation Peak?
What I love is, real quick, I love Kingard's face. Like you're trying to process like what's going on. You're like, what the hell did I just jump into? Right? Like you can see his face right here in the upper corner. He's like, what?
What is this, Liberation Peak? What is happening? Oh my god! Whoa, what the? What? Is it, Hello? What? I think I'm getting spawn killed.
Yeah, you're definitely getting spawn killed.
Ever. What's the point of making a map if there's no team balance? I mean, oh, they found the spawn points on this guy's custom map, and they're just doing that. Well, that's broken. That's horrible. How off? Good.
Right. So that was just real quick. I just wanted to show you that. Right now, obviously, you could say I'm like nitpicking off of one thing, but this is what's going around. Right. I showed this, and it's another streamer was also showing this. This was my fear. Right. This was my fear with when you open up a creative thing for Portal, right? People are like, oh, you can make these amazing things. You can make all of these like cool stuff, and obviously people are making Call of Duty maps inside of Battlefield. Cool, right? I don't give a shit personally. Like if I pay $70 for a game, I don't really want to play games from other games. I want to play the game that they've created. And so my biggest concern for Portal is there's going to be a lot of garbage. Okay, think of Netflix, think of anything else that you go through. There's just a bunch of garbage. And you have to filter through all of that to try to find the cool maps or the cool things that people are creating, right? So another thing people are creating, this is Jack Frags. He's showing off that what you could potentially do inside. Now, this is not his creation. This is someone else's creation that he shows in here, but someone created Space Invaders.
Well, what I'm going to show you here is arguably more impressive because I think it demonstrates the possibilities of Portal in this game. It's crazy. This was put together by a guy called Battlefield Dad. Really nice guy, very talented. And it's a proof of concept, not finished or anything, but it's a demonstration, I suppose, of how powerful the tools are, especially when you know what you're doing. And Battlefield Dad wrote custom script for this, custom string, custom code, and put this little level together. So if I go up to this vending machine here and interact with it, you're going to see something cool happen. Battlefield Invaders pops up. Yes. He's made Space Invaders in Battlefield 6. So if I use my A and D, I can move left and right on the bottom there, and then spacebar shoots. Isn't this wild? And of course, when my shots hit the targets, they disappear. And if you look at the top of the screen there, there's a score. Every time I hit a target, an invader, an alien, the score goes up. This is within the first couple hours of the game releasing. Well, what I'm going to show you here is...
So there you go. Someone created Space Invaders inside of Battlefield 6 as well. So I get it, right? Portal's a really cool thing where people can experiment and do different things, and there's going to be a lot of stuff in there, but there's also going to be a lot of garbage, right? That's different, right? That's exactly why you paid $70, right, Luke? So you can play Space Invaders inside of Portal? Play Space Invaders inside of Battlefield? So there's that, right? So we got those two clips. Battlefield, again, had a nice smooth launch. Okay, let me move that over there. Right? So, oh, that's Borderlands 2. That's off. What's a thing? All right. So here's 5 big reasons, right? 5 big reasons you should buy Battlefield 6. Okay? So let's see what they have to say about the the 5 big reasons you should buy Battlefield 6. It says if you're on the fence about buying Battlefield 6 because you've been burned by EA before, or you simply think Battlefield 6 doesn't look good, we've got 5 reasons to convince you why you should buy Battlefield 6. All right, I would love to hear this. Let's hear this. Right? Let's start by making this thing clear. We are not paid by EA to promote Battlefield 6. Okay, the reason we're bringing this up. Well, is it bigging it up? You mean bringing it up? No one proofread this? Cool. Okay, because it's one of the best Battlefield games in years. Now, it fills the void of first-person shooter market and desperately needed in a game like this. Battlefield 6 has learned from the past mistakes, resulting in excellent single-player and online shooter. Now, I have a question. I think a lot of people are... They're putting glasses on. They got rose-tinted glasses on, and they're 100% comparing this to the last Battlefield game, which is Battlefield 2042. And is Battlefield 6 100 times better than Battlefield 2042? 100%. Okay? But we also know that Battlefield 6 is still not a complete game because, one, the netcode in the game is still bad, right? There's people that are shooting people and they're not getting hit detection, okay? And EA uses a mixed server type of thing. It's the client side and server side. Okay, they use a mix, and it's so. But their side is the last side, right? So it's like theirs, then yours, then go back to theirs. There's the last say, or whatever. And so there's stuff missing there. 2, there's still no suppression in this game. Let me repeat that. Now, a lot of people will look at this and go, "Oh, what's the big deal?" Suppression when you're an LMG person. You're using the support and you're using LMG and you're mowing people down, right? You're supposed to give your guys cover fire. So you're supposed to use, guns, and the LMG is the best for it. Now, all guns don't have any suppression. There is no suppression, okay, on the actual thing. So meaning that you're getting points for suppression, but there's actually no suppression. So if you're a guy shooting at somebody and someone's shooting over your head, it doesn't affect you in any way, shape, or form. You can still keep shooting at them. The other guy is still getting the suppression points, but there's no suppression, which was a problem inside the beta, and now the game launched, which is 2 months after the beta, and still no suppression in the actual game. Okay, so it says you've also isolated 5 key talking points that could convince you to be a better Battlefield believer. Okay, so it has a campaign. Great. Has a campaign that a lot of people are just like, it's okay. Right? 4 studios. 1 studio made the campaign. 1 studio made Battle Royale. 1 studio made the multiplayer. 1 studio made Portal. Or not. Okay. So it has a campaign. Congratulations for your $70. It has a campaign. 4 to 5 hours, I think people said. It says, even if you're someone who jumps straight into the online multiplayer, the second you get into the new shooter, you can't deny that having a Battlefield 6 single-player campaign makes it for a better overall package. It also better value for your money. Battlefield 2042 not having a campaign has borderline criminal, and EA didn't learn from the negative reception of Call of Duty Black Ops 4 received for doing the same thing. So yes, it's not the best campaign in the world, nor is it memorable, but it's there. Right? You see, they're okay with it. They're like, well, it's got a single-player campaign, even though the AI is completely dumb. The maps and stuff are kind of, right? The campaign's not very good acting. It's not really good stuff, but it's there to add the value, okay? To add the value. It's also good, a little training tool to warm you up for shooting skills, learning how weapons work in the game, and also getting a sense of recoil and movements against AI before you also need to use the skills against the real people. Okay, it also offers May through trophies and achievements to kick off as well. It says, number 2, the reason that you should buy Battlefield 6 is because EA is listening to you. How's that suppression working? How's that suppression working? Did you fix the menu system? Is the UI fixed? No? Is there 128 players in the game? No? Is there 64 players in the game? Is there bigger maps in the game? Are we still getting pushed back into the points where you're dominating someone before they even leave the actual, their spawn point? Let me know. Okay. So with over 30 Battlefield Lab sessions successfully completed alongside our community, in total of 92.351578 hours played during open beta, Battlefield 6 is the most tested iterated Battlefield game in history, and player agency remains at heart of it, said Battlefield 6 community. Now I have a question. This is the most play-tested game ever for them, and yet it's still not the best. It's just below the bar, where the bar was set back. I don't know, the last one was like Battlefield 1. Okay. But again, their bar is not Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4. Their bar is Battlefield 2042, which is down here. Okay. So Battlefield 6 is above that, but below this. So it's okay. So it's no secret that EA has been something on a vendetta against itself with Battlefield 6. The failure of Battlefield 2042 sent the game team back to the drawing board. Battlefield 6 MO from the beginning was also been clear that listen to the community. If you don't believe us, take it from the Battlefield studios. It says, we appreciate all your suggestions, and we want you to know that we're listening. With Season 1 of the roadmap ahead, we're excited to continue to build the Battlefield and reflects what players want, like suppression. Okay? And we'll continue reading and listening to the community's channels, and we also cannot wait to share more with you to keep the feedback coming. As we complete the game over the next 6 to 8 to 12 months, over the next seasons, okay, for you. Okay, the whole team knew that Battlefield 6 couldn't fail, or it could be at the end for the franchise, which it didn't. Congratulations, you have about 3 to 5 million people, which we were shooting for, which people said was going to happen, okay? I actually said 8 to 12, okay? So they're around 5 million between console and Steam, not official numbers, just based on the amount of people that were playing on Steam, okay? So Battlefield releases also, meantime, that Battlefield 6 is knowing that it also feedback criticism, it will be heard. Okay. Number 3 reason you should buy Battlefield 6. This is not from me. This is from the article from Inside Gaming. More content than any other Battlefield. Well, that's a straight up lie. Okay. That's a straight up lie. And I haven't even read what they put in the thing yet, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Battlefield 3 or 4 had like 15 or 17 maps. Okay. At launch, and I don't think this one has that many. I think it only has 9. But it says, now we heard Battlefield comms channel, a terrific communication line between players and developer, a detailed post outlining the game's current and upcoming content delivered in a simple message. Our seasons will have more content than ever before in a Battlefield game. Okay, but you got to wait for that, right? You got to wait for that. So Battlefield 6 is a live service game at the end of the day. This means the usual drip feed of new content that'll be also already seen in Season 1 roadmap. How seriously EA is taking this? If you commit to the purchase, you also you're getting a plethora of new maps, weapons, game modes, and everything that you want for the next few years. So you could buy it for $70, $80, $90, $100 version, or you could wait and get it for cheaper and still get the exact same things, right? So we'll probably get beloved maps and fan favorite playlists. So things that we were in the past, just regurgitated. Number 4 reason you should get and play Battlefield 6 is for the free-to-play Battle Royale mode. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would I need to play or buy Battlefield 6 if the free-to-play Battle Royale mode, I don't need to buy Battlefield 6 to play the free Battle Royale mode? But okay, let's read on. Okay, this won't be everyone's cup of tea, but a free-to-play Battlefield 6 Battle Royale mode arrives shortly after the game's full release. It freshens up the concept slightly with the new Insta-Death Circle, and will also feature the multiple multiplayer destruction, meaning if someone is camping in a house, try to bring it down on them to win the game. Okay, even though the Battle Royale concept is a bit stale and played out at this point, adding a BR mode in Battlefield 6 once again helps the game's overall package and value. How does that bring value to Battlefield 6 when it's a free-to-play Battle Royale? Chat, please explain this to me. How does a free-to-play, where I don't have to buy the game, completely separate, don't need to do anything, free-to-play Battle Royale mode bring more value to Battlefield 6 itself? For you, the gamer, how does that bring more value for a free-to-play Battle Royale? Okay. And 5, it's fun. And this might be the only one I think I agree with, because it is fun. Battlefield 6, when I played the beta, I do not have the game right now. Okay. I had a lot of fun playing in the game. It says, in reality is that the new AAA games offer level of destruction, versatility, and Battlefield does. Even bad Battlefield game is still pretty good, 2042 being the outlier that Battlefield 6 decision to skip the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One was allowed Battlefield Studios to improve the franchise destruction. Our time is to open beta. Well, first of all, the buildings still don't crumble all the way down on certain boards, okay, or certain buildings. So getting rid of PlayStation 4 and PlayStation or Xbox, okay, Xbox One, there was more destruction in those versions, in the older versions, where the actual building like collapsed completely. That doesn't happen now with some of these buildings. So how is it more destruction? It seems like less destruction. Okay. Our time in open beta was also delightful. It was also really a Battlefield back in its brilliant best. First of all, can I just tell you, this article, holy shit, this article is written by AI multiple times. We watched a video a couple months ago of a guy talking about how you can tell if an article is written by AI or anything is written by AI. Okay. And when you see these things right here, okay, which I forget what they're called. There's I think it's an MTash and an NTash, right? An MTash is longer than an NTash. Well, the AI loves to use MTashes, which is like really old in the language of people writing. Okay, they stopped using MTashes and started using NTashes instead. Okay, so when you see, and you'll see them throughout the entire article. Okay, one the misspelling is a, I don't know why. Okay, but throughout the thing you see comms channel MTash, right? You have free to play instead of free to play with just the spaces. You have feature multiplayer destruction MTash here as well. Down over here you have pretty good MTash 2042, outlier MTash, and Battlefield. Okay, so there's a lot of MTashes inside of this article. So thank you, Insider Gamer, or who's the actual writer of this? Andrew Heighton. Andrew Heighton. You might want to, I don't know, go back and try to proofread your stuff and maybe get rid of the MTashes so at least it looks like you wrote your own stuff instead of having 5 big reasons you should buy Battlefield. Here, actually, you know what we'll do? Let me see something here. Let's go to 5 big reasons you should buy Battlefield 6. Okay. Let's see. Here are 5 major reasons someone might want to buy Battlefield 6, MTash. Why is it generating buzz? And what is doing differently? 5 big reasons. Tactical destruction plus huge dynamic maps. One of the core appeals is how environment plays a tactical role, building cover, terrain, and aren't just set dressing, MTash. They can be destroyed and manipulated with changes how battles are fought. Maps are big and varied and more reactive into many shooters, which also gives the opportunity for strategy, flanking, and vehicle combat and arsenal battles, right? So there's the 5 big reasons. Number 2, multiple modes plus creator community tools. Number 3, strong single-player campaign. Number 4, fair progression and season-based free content, like the Battle Royale. And 5, better performance, anti-cheat, and clean launch. Now, these are not the same 5 that he has, but man, right? That's crazy. So you go. I just wrote an article too. So we'll go from that, from the 5 big reasons from Insider Gaming's AI director. Here's the next thing. Just started reading AI 30. You're doing it anyway? Right? Like, I might as well just, hey, what's the article? Let me just put the article inside of AI and then just read the article that AI creates, right? Because that's what's happening anyway. Battlefield 6 launched just hours ago, and players have already recreated the Call of Duty map shipment in Portal. So I want to talk about this a little bit. So as I was saying earlier, okay, as I was talking earlier about what Portal's going to be, I understand people are having fun, and I appreciate that, right? You have fun, right? I always say you can have fun with shit in this field, okay? Each their own, okay? What I have a problem with as a consumer, as a customer, as a person who over the years has purchased things and there's been less and less and less content in the games and more price for that thing. Right? Then you have articles being written by AI and people from Inside and Gamer saying that they're going to use, the Battle Royale as to say there's more value inside of that game. They're going to say that a half-assed campaign is more value for you inside of Battlefield 6. To me, there's still features missing from this, right? The maps are small. Look, I get it. I understand what they did. They're looking for the Call of Duty crowd. We'll go over the numbers in a second, right? And they captured the Call of Duty crowd. Okay, they captured and they did the hype. They did a very good job of hyping up this game and getting it very popular and getting up the numbers on the Steam side. Okay, people are talking about it, but at the same time, it just seems something off about this weekend, right? Like the buzz was there, the hype was there, but it also wasn't there, right? But inside of Portal, right, for the company itself to give me a tool, right? Imagine me giving, a bunch of kids, right? Instead of giving them the actual thing to play, right? Instead of making a playground, like having a playground to play, I gave them the pieces to make the playground and then threw them on the ground and said, here you go, kids. This is going to be an awesome playground. I gave you the tools. Make it yourself, okay? Instead of letting them go on a merry-go-round or go down a slide or climb a ladder, right? No, there's the pieces there to make a ladder. There's pieces there to make a slide. There's pieces there to make the playground, to have a sandbox, a merry-go-round, and all the other stuff. But the kids are there, okay? The kids are there, and they have the tools, but they don't actually have the actual thing. But I tell them, hey, don't worry. I'm going to put one thing in there every single time, okay? Now I brought the seesaw, and I put a triangle on the ground. I put a piece of wood on it, and I say, there you go. Look at that. That's the greatest seesaw I've ever created, okay? Obviously, the tools and the actual things that are there to build are awesome for people. Now, maybe one kid is like, you know what? I'm going to build the thing. And the rest of the kids are going to sit there with their knuckle deep inside their nose because they don't know what to do, and they all of a sudden just throw everything together or start hitting each other with the tools. Okay? That's what Portal is right now, in my eyes. Portal is this gigantic playground, and there's going to be awesome things created. Awesome things created. Now, as a person that doesn't own the game right now, which I will own down the road, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for the geniuses, not the ones with knuckle deep up the nose, okay, to make the content. So 6 months now, when I go into the game and I'm like, hey, you know what? I want to play Rush mode or I want to play Conquest mode, and somebody makes those maps that are awesome and they work well and they're filtered, and someone on YouTube goes, I went through 1,000 different things to find the best maps for you, and then someone puts those maps in, fantastic, okay? There's a difference between making, like in SnowRunners, when someone makes a truck, like a mod or Starfield or Fallout, where someone makes a thing to put in the game, or when someone makes Fallout London, right? Fallout London is a team of people creating stuff and inside and where you can download it and play it, where other people are making, a hang glider that doesn't work properly, and you download it, you searched for it, you download it, you play it doesn't work, you have to get rid of it, you go to the next thing. That's what Battlefield has turned into for Portal. Portal is a junk drawer of stuff, and most of the stuff is going to be created by people with knuckle deep in their nose, okay? Where other people will actually make something and it'll be good, okay? So Battlefield 6 launched a mere hours ago, and someone already managed to recreate iconic Call of Duty Modern Warfare map shipment inside Portal mode, which also shows that a lot of Call of Duty players were making it because they wanted to make Call of Duty inside of Battlefield, right? So after years of waiting, leak, and hype, EA and Battlefield Studios launched Battlefield 6 for PC and PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S. Today on October 10th, I promised to back to basics approach for series to attract the attention, especially for Call of Duty community. Okay, Battlefield 6 players can hop into a community tab and the main menu and play the close quarters map themselves right now by simply searching shipment in the search experience. Okay, and it's also the browse server. It says it's chaotic, it's noisy, it's cramped, it's constantly riddled with bullets, or other words, exactly the same thing in Call of Duty. Right? It's become a meme in about 5 seconds. There's also even some shipment 24/7 servers already live and those looking to dive headfirst into the action, which there's no action. It's just literally teabagging, stabbing, and killing someone over and over and over inside the game mode, okay, which you saw with Kingard earlier. The most popular result already features more than 100 likes and sends their thanks to the XSAS Twitter user, PR officer Deep Worlds, Metavatar, who also responsible for bringing shipment to Battlefield 6 to life. They also began posting their progress just yesterday, teasing work on the recreation of another Call of Duty map, Kill House, as well as a map of could also feature Star Wars Star Destroyer, okay, which I saw someone already making that. With Black Ops 7 a little more than 1 month out from November 14th release date, Call of Duty Battlefield are scrapping to win over the hearts of the minds of shooter fans. And now that Battlefield 6 Portal mode is already seeing fans use the creativity to bridge the gap between the two. Okay, so you can see that's the map. That's the entire map. Okay, so they just come in, and there's 64 players, by the way, on this map. 64 players on a very, very tiny map. Okay. It says Portal is a Halo 3 Forge-like game mode introducing in Battlefield 2042 that allows players to build their own maps and modes. It's most likely been used to recreate the remix fan-favorite experiences from across Battlefield's long history, but Battlefield 6 removes many of the restrictions, encouraging imaginative fans to even bring maps from other franchises. Classic Call of Duty map shipment seems to be a first to make waves. Okay. We'll also have to wait and see what other wacky fan-made maps will also come from Battlefield 6 Portal mode. At least he's already teased that he's interested in bringing more classic first-person maps, including Firing Range, Nuketown, Ziba Tower, Metro, and also more to Battlefield 6, right? So this is the guy that actually is talented, that can actually do the stuff, and everybody else is the knuckle-deep ones that are just going to give you a lot of shit. So there's going to be a lot of stuff to kind of like, you know, go through to try to find the actual what's good inside a Portal. Again, I think this is going to hurt Battlefield in the long run. I think a lot of people are already losing interest. I think the game itself, the reason they have Portal is because the game they've created is not that overall addictive. I guess addictive is the wrong word. Okay. What I'm trying to say is the reason they have Portal is because you're going to lose interest in the main game pretty fast. And here's what I'm looking at, right? So I'll look at the numbers real fast. We'll get to that in a second. Let me go to chat. Let me see what you guys are saying about all of this. Let me scroll back up here. What's going on, Argus? What's going on, Mr. Luke? Fate Walker, what's going on? Fate Walker says, are there 5 big reasons to pirate Battlefield 6? Let's see here. Sarge says they misspelled, so you think it's a human. They also didn't do the job to hit spell check to think that the AI didn't write it. Yeah, because also the AI only journalism that's also going to be worth anything in the video. Streams are overcovering. Mr. Luke says they're better B5 than we had. Wait, they are better 5 than we had. That's true. Argus says an article is written by AI is pointless when it also could have just had AI give this all in the information myself without giving some trash can soybeans some online engagement metric. Waterbear says maybe 30. It's AI as well. You're also going to have to add the authentic seal with every video you're posting nowadays. Yes, I am human, made by human. I am made by human. Roadkill says, what's going on, everybody? Battlefield 6 was brought joy back into gaming for me. I haven't played in months, and I got 13 hours in Battlefield. Let's fucking go, boys. Well, there you go. Argus says, made by humans, utilizing AI more accurate. Sarge says, take it easy, Roadkill. When you're starving, they throw a cracker on you. Hey, he's starving and he's looking for stuff, which, you know, it's true, but you can have fun. Eclipse says, yeah, Keeper comes out Keeper comes out, and also Outer Worlds 2 Game Pass is popping. Argus says a Battlefield BR just sounds terrible, especially considering we're also already one of the comparison's sake, and it's terrible. Well, you know what's funny? I watched a lot of Battlefield streams this weekend. A lot of Battlefield streams. Okay, I was watching Shroud. I was watching Tim the Tapman. I was watching just random streamers. I was watching Kingard play. Right, I was watching a bunch of different people play, so I could get different feels. Right. I was watching people that were like super hyped and like Stone Mountain and stuff like that. I was watching them. I was watching people that didn't really weren't too excited, but they also were playing it and were having fun. So I got a bunch of different people's point of views while they're playing the game, and I noticed the same thing in all of them. The maps aren't very good. Okay, the maps aren't very good. And I was watching Tim the Tapman, and about 4.5 to 5 hours inside the stream, excuse me, he was playing with Nick Merce. I think he was playing with Ninja. He was playing with a bunch of other people. And Ninja, excuse me, didn't mean to clear my throat inside the microphone. He was playing with Ninja, and Ninja at the end of the 5 hours was like, all right, guys, I'm done. I'll see you guys during the BR. And they all started laughing because they're like, are you done with the game? He said, yeah, he's like, it's good. He says, but it's not for me, which is fine. Not every game is meant for everybody, right? And he says, I'll see you during the Battle Royale. So whenever that is, if the Battle Royale is supposed to come out at the end of October, cool. If it's not supposed to come out for 6 months, he basically bought the game, played the game. Now, obviously, he's a content creator, very successful content creator. He bought the game, played it for 5 hours, and he's going to put it down. Okay. So one of the reasons I bring this up is because I think the game itself, people had that new car smell, and people really wanted to love the game. And I think people do love the game. I think a lot of people, again, they're super excited about the game because they're comparing it to what was last, which was Battlefield 2042, right? They forget how good Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 were, how Battlefield 1 was, right? They forget these things because, like Sarge said, right, if you throw a cracker at someone that's starving, they're gonna go rampant for that thing because they're starving. So a lot of people, I think, are wearing rose-tinted glasses. I think a lot of people, not to say Battlefield 6 is a shitty game in any way, shape, or form, I just think people are giving it way more leeway than they should because, again, they didn't hit the bar of where Battlefield was. They just beat the bar from where Battlefield was the last time, which was 2042. So let's look at these numbers real fast, right? So this is very impressive, by the way. Okay, 747,440, top 3 of all time now on Steam. But this is opening weekend. On Friday, you can go into our Discord. I was saying, do you guys think it could hit 1.2 mil, right? Do you guys think it'll hit over $1 million, right? Because it was like right as it launched and everyone was like rampant, right? They were like, I'm so excited. And it got to 747. But then shortly after, it started dipping, right? And yes, 24-hour peak is 656. Right now, obviously, people are going back to work. It's a holiday, though, okay? But the peak time here on Friday was 747,000. The peak time, where is this? This is the peak time is 16 UTC, right? So this is technically a peak time here, or the same time as it was the last time. It's 611, okay? Which then the same peak time over here, okay, was 612. Okay, so the peak are going down. Now, the people losing interest, okay, this is Twitch Tracker. Okay, Twitch Tracker on Friday, 868,000 peak viewers. People were really excited about this game. Now, that wasn't on Friday. That was in August during the beta, okay? So if you look at the beta settings, right, 844,000, 868,000, 9,000 channels. 9,000 channels, 626 channels were streaming on Twitch during the beta, okay? Now, obviously, nothing happened in September, and then here we are on opening day in October, and we have 17,000 channels of Battlefield streaming this thing. Right? We had 9,626 during the beta. We have 17,000 people streaming it on Twitch, but yet we have 300,000 less people watching over on Twitch. Okay. 300,000 people less watching over on Twitch. Okay. Now, based on these numbers, okay, they're saying there's around anywhere between 1.26 million and 3.36 million. A lot of people are kind of not really jiving with Battlefield, right? A lot of people played it and they kind of got a little burnt out real fast. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, just to show you what I'm doing, we went to reviews, Battlefield 6. This is just reviews, okay? And the reason I'm doing it this way is to show you, I'm not going to read the top ones. I'm not going to read the 5-star reviews because they're blind, right? I'm not going to read the 1-star reviews because the 1-star reviews they're blind as well. It's either pure love or pure hate. So we're going to go down and we're going to read reviews, okay? We're going to read the reviews. We're going to read the reviews, and I'm going to put the 3 stars. I'm going to put the guys right in the middle, okay? Right in the middle. These are the people that don't hate it, don't love it. They're probably going to give you their honest opinions on what the game is, okay? So we're going to read a couple of these because those of you that are still sitting on the fence, maybe this will help you. Maybe it won't help you, okay? So it says, mid-campaign. Can I make these bigger? Yeah, I can make these bigger. Okay. So it says, mid-campaign, they had a lot of potential, but probably just wasn't given proper resources and forced it into the multiple character narratives. The EA has also been pushing similar operators in 2042. Okay. If they had to focus on the main plot with the U.S. military, they also had to dive deeper into it. It could also have been the best first-person campaign of all time. So basically, he's talking about the main campaign, and it just wasn't very good. Okay. We don't need to hear the main campaign because some of you don't even play the game for the main campaign. It says multiplayer is decent. Way too fast-paced. I'm off on the top of the leaderboard with 2.0 kill-death ratio and still feel like I'm dying all the time, like COD. I do not like the direction the franchise is heading and what EA is saying about the skins and microtransactions and wanting to get yearly releases. That is what killed COD. He says, I do not like being gender-locked into playing as a female or half as a class in multiplayer. I want the RP as myself, and it makes a little sense for a woman to be carrying around a support kit with LMG, 2 ammo boxes, and a triage kit, defib, and a deployed cover. I get that there are also over 100 women who have passed the Ranger course and also feel Forrest and Gecko is the campaign. Halo jumps without gloves and slides down a steel cable without gloves. I guess because they just want you to see a feminine hand holding a rifle so badly. So he's upset about the gender stuff, right? This person says, cons. Map rendering looks more artificial than COD. Texture rendering is a bit weird. Kind of looks more like an Insurgent Sandstorm type rendering. He says, graphics overall are a little disappointing. Black Ops 7 does look and feel a lot more smooth and better. Being shot and falling to the ground looks unrealistic. They had 500,000 plus queue waitlist on launch, which also made indicated low server numbers. Could also become an issue during peak hours and also lead to performance issues over time. Movement is slowed down a bit too much, and game pace overall is a little slow, which also makes it less competitive. Guns are also a little too accurate. With low recoil. Feels like a laser. He says pros. Fog and smoke are more realistic than COD. Assets and also our kill are back. Or assists and kill are back, he said. Slightly blur and initial zooming and makes it appear more realistic than aiming down the scope. You can also carry both sniper and assault rifle and hybrid fighting. Illuminating muzzle flashes in dark rooms during firefights is dope. Shooting without aiming is more realistic. That's also fairly accurate up close. Weapons look pretty realistic. You can also customize your build similar to COD now. And random glow sticks in buildings is pretty cool. Neutral. Really slow TTK. Gameplay will also likely be slower, less fast-paced, less competitive, more tailored to older players. Younger crowds may find it slow. Bullet trails are super slow. This allows you to see the sniper rounds coming from, but looks unrealistic, both good and bad. Major issues is that enemies can also be in your spawn at Battlefield 6. A known beta issue wasn't fixed by launch. As such, people can also be building on buildings and snipe spawning you. Well, that's always a Battlefield thing, so that's not really a bad thing there. This end says this game is huge, a huge step up from the previous two entries of Battlefield 2042 and 5. However, Battlefield 6 does not come close to the magic that was Battlefield 3, 4, and 1, or even Hardline, in my honest opinion. The maps are mid at best. The gun leveling could also be way better, and honestly feels like you're shooting Nerf bullets at your enemies 90% of the time. Half of the map is clearly catered to COD fans, and also can tell how much many COD fans are there and also playing the game because they don't like to play the objectives, revive or repair, or any of those things. Battlefield 6 is a fine game, but there's also literally what it means is just fine. It's not getting a game of the year. It probably won't be in the discussion and better than COD, but that's not really a high bar. Okay, so you see where the 3 stars come in? The 3 stars are not haters, right? Because if I go to the 1 stars, they're going to be like, this game's fucking bullshit. This game's garbage, right? What I watch is not garbage. It looks really fun. There's just a lot of things that it's not done yet, right? I do believe that they're 6 months away from being done. I think they pushed it out too early, but it's in a good enough state where people, 747,000 people concurrent, and 3.5 to 5 million people have bought it, and you paid for it. It says, ranting solely based on multiplayer. Doing away with large-scale battles, taking away 60 versus 60 game modes, and reducing the player count to 32 versus 32 really doesn't do the game any favors. I enjoy Battlefield for grand scale, battles with a lot of time on the clock, large maps, and plenty of players and vehicles. This feels more like COD with destruction. 2042 got so much wrong, but actually preferred it over Battlefield 6. Damn. Server buyer's remorse hasn't set in yet. Or server buyers... Or severe buyer's remorse has set in. Sorry. Okay. So, another one says, look, I've been a fan for Battlefield for a really long time. Hate to say it, but the new game, Battlefield 6, is basic. I bought it thinking, oh shit, this might be the new best Battlefield 4. Or this might be the new best Battlefield 4. I'm disappointed. I guess that the legacy really did end with Battlefield 4. Before you buy, think I'm wrong or full of it, let me tell you that Battlefield 6 is basic. Since most people who give a review for the game are basically new gens who are barely becoming gamers. Okay, very few weapons for your classes. Number 2, weapon recoil is all over the place. Number 3, classes make no sense at all. Explain why a support has a defibrillator and a medic only has a support weapon. 4, driving armored vehicles in this game feels like I'm driving a tank from Halo, using left top stick to go forward and back instead of R2 or L2. Don't get me started. The AA armor, useless, feels more like BDR than a AA tank. Okay. Number 5, takes a whole mag to kill someone. Battlefield 6, what was that, Black Ops 6 moments? Even in hardcore, it takes half a mag to kill anyone. Number 6, the game will get boring in about 2 hours. Trust. Now, that's not the first person I saw. When I was watching people play, I could literally see them, like, getting bored of the maps they were playing. Shroud, he was just leveling up, right? Because he's a gamer set, right? He was just leveling up. And when he was leveling up, he was just picking 2 maps, going back and forth between the 2 maps. And the reason he picked 2 maps is because he didn't want to burn himself out on the 1 map. Okay? This one says, definitely not even close to OG Battlefield. Movement is way too cracked. Barely any weapons. Maps are pretty dog water and too many chick operators. I did stint in the infantry, and the only ladies that were amazing combat medics. Everything else about the game is too fast-paced. They had the opportunity to achieve greatness, and they fumbled yet again. It's not horrible, but it's definitely just does not deserve the extreme hype. So there you go. This guy says it's okay. The gameplay is good for what it is, but still doesn't feel like a Battlefield anymore. The maps are too small. They've opted up close-quarter urban warfare setting and fast engagement, individual respawns over the sprawling maps, and pass with wave respawns that made Battlefield great. Apparently, they think that no one has the patience to wait more than 10 seconds to shoot at another person anymore. So there you go. This guy says the new maps are just boring, and there's no cover. Cover that can also be destroyed is cool and all, but why is it literally everything temporary cover? After 5 to 10 minutes in the game, there's almost nowhere to be safe. Becomes a Call of Duty, spawn in map, get 1 to 3 kills, then get lasered by 3 different people all around you. The gameplay is fun on the old maps. It feels balanced and fair, but the new maps, they need some better map design. So I said this over Discord. I said the maps look horrendous. Again, I watched like 10 to 15 hours of gameplay this weekend between all these different streamers, and I thought the map design was terrible. Again, I didn't play it. I played the beta. I played, 5 4 maps in the beta, and I only liked one of them. So it seems like that is the sentiment right now as well. We'll read one more, and then I'll go to chat. It says, sour taste in the mouth after trying this one. Was hoping for Battlefield 4 or 3 experience, and it was pretty disappointed. If you're looking for COD players' perspective, it's the best Call of Duty in years. Unfortunately, I wanted Battlefield 6, not Battlefield Call of Duty Edition. Seems like it also could be fixed with rebalance, slowing for soldiers down, buffing tanks, and adding recoil to guns. But they also might lose the high-paying COD players. I guess gaming just isn't for me anymore. So there you go. There's a lot of people like that are talking like that they played the game and they just kind of just like whatever. Okay, what's going on, Bat? Says, I think COD streamers ruining Battlefield 6. Ninja ain't playing. Yeah, he said he's done. He'll play the Battle Royale. BR streamers are all the sheets. Clip says IGN gave it 5. Travis, they're seriously are saying IGN knows gaming. IGN wasn't known for gaming since 2015. Altered says, if Tim doesn't like regular Battlefield, that makes him think that we also like the BR. He's enjoying it. Tim is enjoying the game, but you could tell he's playing it to wait for the Battle Royale. Sarge says, but if you only love the game for 5 hours, then it's your ex-wife. Bat says Battlefield 1 is still on playing because of the old weapons and tanks. I still play Battlefield 1. I still absolutely love it. Jason says people give these influencers too much power. The clip says, yeah, it's very crazy as it goes up on the weekend. It never happens usually. Yeah, it's very crazy that it's also go up on the weekend. Yeah, it usually goes up. Like Saturday is like peak. It didn't. It lost people. So I was watching Shroud on Friday. He had like 36,000 people watching him on YouTube. And then yesterday he had 6,000. I would love 6,000 people to watch me any day, right? But that's not shooting at Shroud in any way, shape, or form. That's showing that people just aren't interested. Like the hype was there. People are looking at it going, man, should I get this? So they watch the streamer, right? 30,000 people, almost 40,000 people were watching him. And then all of a sudden, same. Dr. Disrespect had like 40,000. Tim had like 32,000, right? Like a lot of people were watching these guys. And then the next day, they lost half. And the next day, they lost half of the half. Right? So they lost 75%, 80% of the viewership that they had on Friday. Now, again, people could say, well, this is how it is on all games. You're correct. But there was no other games launching this weekend that were taking away from Battlefield, right? Like Battlefield is Battlefield. The hype was so big on Friday, and yet by Sunday, it was like, you forgot that Battlefield came out on Friday. You would think it came out like a week ago Friday. Bat says, it will be like Helldivers. New content, play, go, 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 after stop playing. I think you're not wrong. I think there's people there, there's a problem with the design of the game. Okay? Battlefield 6 maps are not very good. They're not. Okay? People can like them, but the designs of the maps are not very good. And because they're not very good, people go, oh, you know what? I don't like this map. I'm going to play this map. Right? And then because they don't like that map, they go to the next map. So if you have 9 maps in the game, but 7 of them suck, you're playing 2 maps. Well, if you only enjoy 2 maps and you're constantly playing the game now, you're like, I don't like those maps. Now you're only playing 2 maps of the 9 maps, right? And let's say you don't like Breakout. And then let's say you don't like Conquest, right? They have so many different game modes and so many different maps that are bad. Not good maps, bad maps. If you have good maps, people go through the thing. For instance, if you play Battlefield 1, right? There's people that play the map and they'll play multiple maps, 4, 5, 6, 7 maps in a row. They won't dip out because they like the maps. The maps are good design. In this one, you'll see people drop, like go watch a streamer. You'll see now when people go into the game, it fills up and they're like, and then you see people drop out because they don't like the map that they're on. Well, then what's happening is it's getting filled with bots, okay? Where it didn't do that in the past, right? Battlefield 1 doesn't fill with bots. It fills with players. And the players fill the map because the map is good. So the design of the maps are bad, so that's hurting the game, right? The design of the weapons is hurting the game. The grinding that they have, a lot of people's problems with the grind. Now, I was watching them play the game and saying, is the grinding good? I think Dr. Disrespect said that the grinding, he played all day with Sniper, and he got maybe half the stuff. So he put about 8 to 10 hours in, I would assume, in the day. And he had about half the stuff. So I don't know. But a lot of people are saying that the grind is a little too long. You're unlocking stuff in the game, which is good. But they're saying that the grind is too long. And I think there's a difference between someone that plays 12 hours a day and someone that plays 12 hours a month. Right? The person that plays 12 hours a month is probably not, it's going to take them months and months and months and months to unlock the weapons that someone did in 1 week. Paris says, what you're saying is Battlefield 6 had only made $140 million. Battlefield 6 has an estimated development cost well over $400 million. It's over $500 million, yeah, potentially reaching. It's the last time they said it, Paris, was like, they said it was like $520 million, right? That's before marketing, by the way. That's before marketing. So let's just say half of that. Let's say it's $700 million with marketing, right? If they did less marketing, usually you double it, right? So it'd be $1 billion. I don't think they spent that much, but 700 million, 750 million. What's going on, Mando? Battlefield 4 was the best. Fate Walker says, might be because EA app was also down, moving them from Steam to EA app. And the drops may have also helped on Monday. Sure, there's also the drops on Twitch, which also kind of makes you wonder, right? Let me go back to the Twitch tracker here, okay? The drops here, there's 300,000 people less watching on Twitch when the game came out from when it was in beta. So even with the Twitch drops, that's not very good. When you lose 300,000 people, 17,000 channels, though. That's nuts. So on, Stubby. I think the drops caused that, honestly. Why play this when I could also do something fun and interesting like watching paint dry? Maybe, yeah. Much faster, much more fun to watch paint dry. Point still stands, though. The grind is rough. Is it, Fate? Are you playing? I hear a lot of people are saying that the grind is brutal, which is by design, right? I mean, they're adding double XP and whatnot, so. Gaming says the maps are big COD 3 lane maps. I hate the maps. Just watching people play the maps, I'm like, I'm going to wait for bigger maps. I'm waiting for more stuff to come into the game. Sarge says, but what are real reasons why it's interested? They aren't buying it at full price, maybe. Maybe they're also waiting for more details on context or content too close to holidays. Perhaps, Sarge. Maybe a lot of people are waiting, which smart consumers, if they are. Kraken says, I had fun with the beta, but like 2042, I'll be waiting until the game is $1.99 on Steam or booted up on Delta Force. Scratch my itch for Battlefield. Fate says the challenges also seem to have a bot games in mind for the majority of the people. Oh, really? So are they? So what you're saying, Fate, is that a lot of the go blow up, I don't know, 50 tanks or some shit, right? 50 tanks. Go in a bot match to go up against tanks to get that done faster, because if you did it in a normal game, it would take you super long, right? So they're actually pushing you to go play bot matches. Butter says, the worst part of any of the snipers is fucking dog shit. Red dots. What the fuck was let's get a Sharpie. Thick about putting a dot on the sniper. Stubby says, dude, Doc sat there for 7 hours to play one game because of those EA issues. Nate says, did you talk about Battlefield Borderlands 4 yet? Nope, I have not. We haven't moved over yet. Waterbear says, looks like a lot of people came and saw and lost interest pretty quick. Yeah, a lot of people were playing for like 3-4 hours, and they're like, I'm kind of done. Which I thought was, again, it's not for everyone. I also do think, though, Water, there's a lot of people that were coming back that haven't played a Battlefield game in over a decade. Like, they didn't play Battlefield 5. They didn't play Battlefield 2042. The last one they played was Battlefield 1, and they thought it was going to be something, and they went, No. And that could be because they get older and they just lost the interest. That because the game it's a better Battlefield than 2042, but it's not a better game than the Battlefield 1. It's not. Fate says, I have 34 hours in it. Man, you put in some time this weekend, huh? 10-hour days? Ron Sledger says, I'm just waiting for Nicki Minaj. And then I'll be all in. Arm or disarm in Rush 5 times. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely more towards the bots. Yeah, I saw a player count went up for Delta Force, so a lot of people just went there to play. Is that true, Eclipse? Is that true? Hold on, let me look. I don't know if it went up because it looks pretty stable. Delta Force every day is hitting that 220, 230, 220. There was a moment here that people were like, you know what? Maybe I'll go check out on Sunday. Yeah, they're the same though. It's pretty solid numbers. That's solid numbers for Delta Force. I'm so with you on the bigger maps. You need to get 100, 150 headshots on 200 meters to get the last sniper there is, and also 2 to 3 maps are realistically possible. So wait a minute. So they want you to shoot past 200 meters, but most of the maps aren't 200 meters, so you can only do it like on 1 map, 2 maps. That's bad. Partially helping to take it does not count. You are competing against everyone else. It's a luck-based challenge unless you bot. Interesting. It only counts for the person arming it. Butter says rangefinder will also 0 for you. Like, what the fuck? Making skill-based class lacks skill. Yeah, I played Delta Force. I enjoyed it. It definitely scratched that itch of Battlefield for me. Fate Walker says challenges are also bugged in non-bot games. So you also may not be able to progress challenges in a non-bot game, like repairing vehicles for 2,000 points. Oh, for God's sakes. See, there's like little things like this, Fate. This is exactly why I don't buy games day one. Right? Because the suppression thing really pisses me off. Right? The suppression thing really pisses me off. Because the suppression's in the game. And you get suppression points, but you're not actually suppression. Okay? So if I'm sniping you and you're shooting the LMG at me, my screen stays perfectly clear. I don't have to duck my head or anything. I just stay there and just keep sniping at you because your suppression is not suppressing me. It's literally doing nothing. So it's like, how do you guys miss this? And people are like, oh, they'll fix it. They'll fix it in the main game. 2 months have passed. 2 months have passed. They have not fixed it. It's still the exact same it was in the beta. That's correct. It's so bad. Fundamentally, people can deny this. They can say they didn't do this, but this is my take on it. They made the maps. They made the way it is to deal towards the Call of Duty guys. They don't want to beat Call of Duty. They want to get the Call of Duty money, right? So they did the game the way they did. They made the smaller maps, more close combat to bring those people in where it's not as fast as Call of Duty. It's not as this, but they brought them in, get their money, and then those people are going to go back to play Call of Duty. You're going to see a massive drop in numbers for Battlefield in the next 3 weeks. Massive drop. Okay. Now you could say, right? You could say this right here. Well, I'll bring up Delta Force. When did Delta Force launch? Right? Look, Delta Force has been gaining people since it came out. You're going to see this is mind-boggling, right? This is a free-to-play Battlefield type of game, okay? You're going to see a massive dip in Battlefield. One, because the people that bought it are going to be bored of it, right? And the only reason you're going to see it go up is if they go on sale or if they put it on Game Pass. Because remember, Battlefield 2042 got revived when it went to PlayStation and Xbox, when it went to PlayStation Plus and in Game Pass. Fate says, however, the reason I'm playing is because I'm a grinder. And since everyone does not have everything unlocked, experience is also what will be for the first 3 weeks. It will never be the same. That's true, because if I come in a month from now, the people I'm going up against will have everything unlocked, and I'm starting from scratch. So I'm going to get my ass kicked for the multiple times. So that means I would have to play against the bots to level up my guns for more play time, so then they can try to get me for more playtime, right? They want to try to keep you in the game as long as possible. That's the design of the game. Make it grindy. Put as many things in there so you're just, even if you're browsing in the browser to look for a game, you're still in their game and you're not playing a different game. The class-specific ones like that, I don't unlock to be progressed until you are level 20. Eclipse says, did you see that the IGN review, when they also could not hit the person with the sniper rifle, it was because he had 200 meters on it? Ah, okay. Faye Walker says, so far good. Sarge, been vibing and having fun gaming. It says also, some of the small maps are just part of the bigger maps. So you don't really consider them having 9 maps. It's more like 6 or 7. No. There's 9 separate maps, isn't there? Isn't there 9 maps? You're telling me like maps are just like different quadrants of that map? No. Daily and weekly challenges. Took me 6 hours to get my first win on Friday. I'm sorry. It took you 6 hours to get your first win in Battlefield? Fate? No, there are 5 maps that are zoned out. Oh, for God's sakes. That's crazy. 6 hours to get your first win. So you had a lot of people not reviving, not supplying, not going for the objective. Holy Christ. That would irk me to no end. Let me see if I can find one more. Here's another one. All right, let me read it. I want to read a couple more, and then we'll move over to the next story. This is why it feels like the game from 12 years back, question mark, created by a bunch of mid-level devs. I think no strong characters, not the great game mechanics. Story is representing in boring way. Forcefully and watching is 6 was also the worst of all Battlefield series. I have to tell you this. Graphics is okay at few areas that are not at the best. Color correction was bad. I think they compared it to what they were using makes the graphics is really OSM after 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay. Game is just okay. The maps seem repetitive, look similar, and are linear. Mag dump is just get to get the kill or 2, if lucky. Auto aim system is trash with the quick snapping allowed. Oh yeah, you can also slide like Call of Duty, disappointing, but still remember they fixed that a little bit. But yeah, you can still do it. Like most Battlefield games, it opens the issues needing fixing. Nothing like 2042 or Battlefield 4 when it first opened, but still, yeah, it's not broken buggy. So congratulations, you've almost made a game. Okay, the maps are also boring. It hurts to say. I feel like this game will not receive bad reviews, but will die quickly. It just doesn't have anything that makes me go, wow. Great. I mean, I didn't even buy the game. I think the same way as you from just watching people. Very disappointed. They got rid of the solo/bot matches. You now have to make your own server and go through a whole... So wait a minute, Fate, you were saying that you have to go into bot matches. Is this true? They got rid of the solo bot matches, so now you have to make your own server to go in to do the things, to get the things done in a bot match? Or find someone else's bot match, right? Much more user-friendly. Have the preload options like previous year's titles. Please bring it back. 5 stars if it wasn't for that. Okay. TTK on some of the assault rifles is like Lucky Dip. 1 minute they kill in 3 shots. The next one is the whole clip. Too many people are able to go as engineer, making vehicle play pointless with all the mines. 4 new maps added at launch, and maps are tiny compared to other successful Battlefield games. Is this really Battlefield? Slide and movement? Don't think so. Moments of greatness, but poor map design. Means players are forced to adopt more Calls of Duty style gameplay methods. Rush and Breakthrough are totally broken. Mayhem Bridge map is barely playable. Man, it's amazing. It's amazing to me that I haven't played 1 frame of the game since launch. I don't own it. But I watched 15 hours of people play the game, and I can tell you the maps are bad. And the only reason I can tell you the maps are bad is because I've played every single Battlefield known to man over 23 years. Okay? I played every single one. I've played multiple military sim games with maps, Hell Let Loose, Call of Duties, right? Battlefields, what's the other one? Band of Brothers, right? Like, all of these things, right? All of these things. I look at the maps, I'm like, these are bad map designs. And a lot of people had the same sentiment, but they bought the game. I didn't. Okay? So I'll keep playing, but honestly, this game does not feel like a copy and pasta of 2042 or COD with just a few tweaks. Wish they could make something unique. I know this game will get burnt out quick. That sentiment right there tells what gaming is today. I'll just keep playing, but honestly, I'll get burnt out real quick. Like, what? Return it. Don't go play something else. Don't make it like a chore. Honestly, I haven't played since Battlefield 1, and jumping into the game was super overwhelming. I kept dying nonstop, and I think it's discouraging for people getting back into it. Maybe I'll change my opinion on my review, but right now, it was pretty easy to put down and walk away. Again, someone spent $70, $80, $90, $100, and they're like, I'm good. I'll just put it down. That's crazy to me. Love Battlefield 6 overall, but seriously, it needs balancing. Feels nothing like the beta. Feels slow and clunky. TTK is broken. Please tell me how the weapon has 25 damage, takes 7 shots to kill somebody. Cool game, but it's pretty crappy. Cool game, but it's pretty crappy. And then you're forced to be played the campaign online. Anyone who also supports that is an idiot. Also, EA, you're greedy. Piece of shit for doing that. There you go. There's too many bugs in this game, and no one plays as a team at all. The beta felt a lot better than this. Whatever this is, they need to fix it ASAP. This is not what I had played in the beta. Hit registration is terrible. Weird bobbling effect in aiming, and they almost anti-aim assist was really hyped after the beta, but this is standard fare stuff. So fun that all these people would rather be posting about it than rather playing for hours after release. That's great. Yeah. I'm having so much fun. I'd rather be putting a review up. I've been better. It seems a bit cheesy, especially with driving scenes. They also could have put much more into it. He's talking about the campaign. The beta was so good, and now playing the full release, the sensitivity is on high, and they can't shoot the side of a barn. Oh, that's another thing. So now there's a thing going on where the default controls of the game apparently are not good. Okay, so you have to go in. Now, there's a difference between going in and tweaking things for your, yourself playing, and a difference of you have to do it just so you can get back to 0, just so you're not shit at the game. Okay, there's a big difference there. It says, brutal game, but shame for EA launcher. People cannot play the VI launcher. Don't buy EA. Buy on Steam. I bought it on EA and cannot play. Wow, this is a new Call of Duty. Isn't that bad? Multiplayer is kind of dog shit. Nothing special. No little bird. Meh, Battlefield 4 was still better in every way. It's fun, but maps feel too small. And there you go. So there's most of the reviews that we read there. It's bad. It's not good, but it's not bad, right? People are having a fun time with it. But I feel like a lot of people are just like, yeah, it's okay. I'm just kind of bored of it. And that's not what you want to hear. One of the maps is just a Battlefield 3 map. Notice how they need to bring back old stuff because the new stuff can't hold up. True. People learning the game. That's what I chalked it up to. Sure, I guess. Argus says, my friends are sweats. I didn't have trouble getting a few wins. The randoms are absolutely shitters at the game, though. Butter says, I don't have prox chat. How can I yell at some fuck with the heal me other than press F and call it healing? Yeah, they're playing Battlefield, but not playing Battlefield. Go figure. Yeah, I don't get it, Mo. And a lot of the people that are coming in want to play the Call of Duty maps, right? No. All right. So let's switch that. Look, I hope everyone's having a good time. We'll obviously be covering Battlefield as it goes on. But my 2 cents from not playing, just watching a lot of people play it, is that the maps are a major problem. The maps are major problems, and the people are going to leave in droves because the maps are getting boring. And here's what I'll say. If the maps are perfect, then they won't fix them. But if the maps are broke, like I say, then they're going to announce something down the road that they've gone back and reworked the maps. And that's what we'll say, right? And maybe they won't rework them because they're constantly moving back or moving forward with new stuff in the seasons. And they want people to play the timed events and the timed maps and the timed stuff. So, but my point is the maps are bad. And because the maps are bad, people will stop playing sooner rather than later because it's not enjoyable when the maps aren't fun. That's a major part of Battlefield. You have to have the big maps, and you have to have really good maps where they have cover, they have wide open spaces, they have vehicles, okay? So when you have a shitty map and it's small, well, guess what? People are like, peace out, I'm done with this one, I'll go play a different one. And then they're trying to force you to go to Portal and make the maps that are better than the maps that they have, which is stupid because they should be making the maps good because you paid $70 to not to make the maps, but to play the maps. Again, my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. They haven't even added the store yet, by the way. They haven't even added the store. Quintar says microtransactions haven't even hit yet as well. Wonder what type of greed is coming soon. We'll see, Quintar. Yeah, they haven't even come out yet. So we'll see. So that's Battlefield. Let me go to. Let's talk about. Where's my. Is this Borderlands? Yeah, this is the Borderlands one. Okay. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday. We just have conversations. I read the articles, give you my thoughts and opinions, get your thoughts and opinions. We go back and forth to chat. Okay. It's not a debate. It's just I'm reading the news, giving you guys some entertainment for a couple hours of your day. If you like it, like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Okay. So I said this when they first announced Borderlands. Okay. Now, actually, let me go up and look at Borderlands real fast. Let me get Borderlands. All right, Borderlands 4. Okay. And let's look at... Now, they have lost like 80% of their population. Okay. Now, I know it doesn't look... But there you go. That's the population. Now, I get it, chat. Right? It's a single-player game. You play the game, you put it down, and you move on to the next one, right? But this is not just a single-player game. This is a live service game. This is a Destiny-esque type of game where they're constantly putting more stuff in, new people come in, or I'm sorry, new Vault Hunters come in, new bosses come in, new weapons come in, all this is stuff, okay? So, I talked about how the weapons is going to be so grindy that it's going to drive people away. Okay. Now, again, I don't know anything. I'm just a guy in my room that likes video games. Okay. But for some reason, a lot of the stuff I say comes to fruition because it's based on actual things that are happening in life, and life repeats itself, and they keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. Okay. So let me see if this is this the one? This is a notice board. Okay. No, this is the one. Okay. So I want to know, what sort of odds am I trying to beat when I'm grinding a game for 150 hours and over 3,000 boss kills later? A superfan has worked out Borderlands 4's disappointing low drop rate. Okay, now, again, I know there's people out there that are going to do this type of stuff. They're going to figure out what the drop rate is, right? And obviously, someone else will be like, well, no, you're doing it wrong and whatnot. So let's see what he has to say, okay? If you're a big Borderlands 4, and you'll be wondering about the drop rate, okay, in the looter shooter, when it comes to endgame, it's all about getting the right items for the right build, so damage numbers can keep on going up. But it's actual chance of getting legendary drops from bosses in Borderlands 4. Now, developer Gearbox keeps the drop rate hidden from players, as it also has many other developers do when it comes to games like this. It wants you to grind and keep players going for months, even years, or even after all, right? Or forever, basically. There you go. There's months. It's been 1 month. It's been 1 month, and they have lost from 304,000, 398,000 to 60,000. That is a huge drop, okay, for 1 month of this game. Now, it says developer Gearbox keeps the drop rate hidden, and it says how things work under the hood, and so on. A superfan, Siphonic Fur, who also happy to spend hundreds of hours killing thousands of bosses to find out. So he says, I first came across the work of Borderlands subreddit, where they had a posted spreadsheet detailing the data thrown up by a loot drop over 3,000 boss kills, and really helpful piece of work. It's been also well received by the community, but also struck by the top liner analysts. And the dedicated drop rate of any individual item is about 5%. Okay, 5%. Just 5%. That's terrible, by the way. Okay. 5%, surely that can't be right. That feels worse than the drop rate in the previous Borderlands games I've played. Perhaps there's a flaw in the guy's work. I don't think so. A bug in the system, maybe. Nope. I thought it was best to have a chat to find out. So data analysts and stats are just a personal interest, though. I would absolutely love to find out to work in that field. He says they told him. He says, I have a passion for it, and I would like to think that I have a knack for it. Before we get to the Q&A, let's get to some housekeeping in that way, okay? So I'm going to call him Siphon. All right, so Siphon kills were done on Ultimate Vault Hunter Mode 5 difficulty, currently the hardest in the game. As Vex, the drop rates were tracked from the moment Siphon unlocked the UVHM5 to limit sampling errors, okay? The weekly Encore bosses are included from a total since they also have dramatically different drop rates that also skew the overall data. And the class bosses are bosses that also have class mods and depicted or dedicated drops. So Siphon certainly has thoughts of class mods. More on that below. Multi-bosses are encounters, which also multiple named enemies that also each have a typical drop chance. And a normal boss are every bosses that also don't fall into the other two categories. So it says, read on. In the fantasy getting into the weeds of Borderlands 4, drop rates actually work based on someone who's put a lot of time in and effort to find out. Okay, it says the looter shooters is also generally finding something insightful here. I certainly did, and thanks to Siphon for their time. Okay, so he says, what drove you to do this in the first place? He says, well, I was driven to do this by the desire to know what the actual going into the looter games. Now, that's exactly how I am, right? We talked about this. I was like, I'm a numbers guy. I like knowing this stuff. And with the different pieces and trying to get the drop rates that you want to try to find the thing that you need to make the god weapon, the god tier weapon. Now, each their own. Every person wants a different thing, so you might find it sooner than somebody else. That's just the luck of the draw. It says, how much time have you spent doing this? He says, on Borderlands 4, I would say I spent about 150 hours collecting this data, but I also done it for other games in the past, such as Diablo 4 and Destiny 2. In total, I would say I've spent about 400 hours collecting and organizing drop rate data for these games. How many boss kills in total went into this? Siphon said the spreadsheet featured in the post was a compilation of 3,035 kills worth of data. Technically 3,635 if you count the multi-bosses as three kills each, since they also treated as individual bosses. I have since recorded more data while playing with my friends, but the data isn't represented in the post. how do you actually how did you actually loot everything? He says, it says to actually loot everything and record the data, I could have the notes app open on my phone. After each kill, either during the boss death animation or during the phase portal animation, I would add 1 run to the total kills of that boss. I would pick up every legendary during that process, and then after the farming session was over, I would record how many of the each legendary I received during the session. Then create the post. I created a spreadsheet, compilated to all the data and the notes, and also into the sheet to run necessary calculations to produce the drop feeds. Okay. In your conclusion, you say the drop rate would be doubled. Why is it 10% the sweet spot? He says, I think 10% is the sweet spot for dedicated items for two reasons. One reason is also drop rate is Borderlands 2. Okay, so I think the game widely regarded as the best game in the franchise, and I'm also almost certain community thinks it was also the best game for farming, which it was. Okay, 10% created a perfect balance where the drop always feels special, but you also never get too long without one. Okay, where in Borderlands 3, they were like throwing them at you, right? The nerdier math answer is that the primary reason to push for change is the severity of the outliers. For example, in my data, the longest cold streak was I farmed Fractus, took 96 runs to get a single UAV grenade to drop. The odds to not getting them in 96 consecutive items is a 5% drop rate, about 1 in 137 in stark contrast. At the 10% drop chance, the odds also go cold for 96 trials in a row are 1 in 24,703. Going from 5% to 10% isn't just doubling the chance, it's reducing the worst possible outlier outcomes by the factor of 180. Those outcomes make people give up or quit due to frustration and should be limited as much as possible. An increase of 10% would make a world of difference in limiting the most egregious outlier scenarios. So, here, from just what he's saying here, right? Going from 5% to 10% is just doubling the chances, okay? People may just give up. Right? There you go. Because the chances right now are 5% drop rate based on his findings. And in 1 month, they have lost over 80% of their player base. How do you feel about class mods? He says, I strongly dislike the way class mods drop in Borderlands 4. I think it's extremely frustrating that there is no waiting towards the Vault Hunter that you're playing. I've hated this in even Borderlands 3. I said stupid. I hated this in Destiny. When I played as a hunter and I got stuff for a warlock. When I played as a warlock and I got something as a titan. Okay? Like, why? Right? Let me choose. You're like, oh no, we're shoving you towards so you make a different character. Well, no, you're wasting my time as the character that I'm playing. Right? Maybe a person doesn't have 200 hours to put and do multiple playthroughs. Maybe they only want to play one playthrough. Right? This post must be old? I don't know. Let's see. The post is from October 10th on Friday. So I don't know how much fixes they've done. Okay. So he says, I strongly dislike the class mods drop in Borderlands. I think it's extremely frustrating for the no waiting towards the Vault Hunters you are playing. As mentioned in the post, if the class drop equally, and then 3/4 of the class mods will be in your other classes. Okay. I understand Gearbox wants class mods for other classes to drop to encourage you to play in other classes or just so you can share the loot with your friends who also play those classes. But I think its current system, it's extreme. I suggest that if they post weighting the drops towards other classes in some degree, I think as low as 40% for your class and 20% for each of the other classes would be fine, but also would prefer 70% higher for your class and 10% for the others. References also currently seems at 25% across the board. Okay. Did anything in your data surprise you? He says, I'm particularly surprised by the 2 bosses in my data. The Rippa Roadbirds and Vile Ted and the Experiments. I actually created the category of multi-bosses because their numbers were so out of the ordinary. These bosses are a collection of 3 named enemies, and based on my testing, the game treats each individual enemy as a boss with a typical loot drop. So each run, these encounters are equal to 3 boss kills, effectively tripling the effective of these sources. So I also was surprised by just how low the drop rate is. Very early on, within the first week, I heard the community speculation that the drop rate is between 110 and 115 from creators such as Jolt Dudes 139. So I was quite surprised and frankly disappointed when it turned out to be 120th at a 5%. He says, so you say you have many more thoughts on the drop rates and RNG. Where are they? He says, I do have many more thoughts, honestly, more than ever, even than this. I feel like that we should also write pages on topics, but also summarize best I can. He says, I fundamentally disagree with the design philosophy of many of these games in the sense of that they think truly perfect gear would be attained in a possible amount of time, which is not, okay? Which I said months ago before this game even came out. I said, also phrasing there is also important because of the perfect loot is technically possible in Borderlands 4. It isn't actually realistic to obtain. When the initial drop rate is just 5%, and then you stack the RNG and standard part system on top of that, and then stack the RNG of the licensed parts on top of that, you hit the point where the odds compound so much that you're getting truly perfect items starts to approach the even exceeded real-life lottery odds. Okay? That's amazing. I didn't do any kind of paper or kind of research or anything like that. I literally said this months ago when I said it would be highly improbable to get any kind of, as I called it, pure blood god roll. Okay. For example, if this was a class mod system in Wonderlands, those items had a 1 in billions chance of dropping in the perfect roll. Some members of the Borderlands community like that chase. Okay. They never actually want the perfect item to drop. They want to chase the idea of a perfection without ever actually achieving it. If they ever get that to drop, they have nothing to chase. With this is out mentality, I just never understood. Borderlands 4 is designed for those chase players, and that is fine. But this isn't what I want from Borderlands. I want to farm perfect gear and then actually use it. I want to put together a truly perfect build and then go take the hardest challenge and put it on the test that says that that you shouldn't be free by any means. Okay? And I'd be willing to put that in time in, but for me, this means a few hundred hours, not a few hundred days, weeks, or even months of playtime. But the mindset seems to be a minority opinion. So perfect loot continues and only exists in theory. He says, I think the major contributing factor of the lack attainability is the general absence of statistical literacy. I think most players, honestly, most people in the world don't effectively process probabilities, the statistics at all. I know this. Okay. Add in optimism bias, which also tends to make people overestimate their own ability to beat the odds, and suddenly the chance of players grossly misunderstood and how low the odds need to go or to be for them to never get what they want. The devs have also to make the odds truly absurd because odds like a 1 in 5,000 sound too attainable to the lay player, even though those same players won't kill any single boss more than 500 times, let alone 5,000 times. Most players just don't understand the relevance of math statistics and play these types of games and start contributing to problems with the attainability. Well said. There's also evidence that suggests that Gearbox tweaks the drop rates behind the scenes. I have no evidence that Gearbox tweaks drop rates behind the scenes. In fact, my data reflects the opposite. Even at the earliest data, which also collected the first week of the game's lifespan, aligns with the overall totals, indicating that consistent drop rates throughout all data collecting since release. She says, what do you plan on doing now with the actual finish with the Borderlands 4? I'm not really too sure what I will be doing now. I'm actually finished with Borderlands 4, at least from a solo play perspective. I'll still be logging in with my friends and ask me to play, but I won't be playing on my own accord until the game receives a significant update. I might play the new Diablo season, right? So there you go. And you know what? He's not the only one, right? So many people just don't understand the statistics. They don't get it. They're like, oh yeah, well, I'm not there, right? And then they break it down. Well, I'm only there to get this, whatever. I'm having fun, right? That's the breakdown. They'll make excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse just to go down to the baseline of saying, well, I'm having fun, which is fantastic. If you're having fun, then you don't need to open your mouth and be a part of the conversation of why the games are like this, right? They're literally created to be this way to keep you in the game longer. Because if they keep them in the game longer, they think that for some reason keeps people, the masses. They don't care about the masses, right? They care about the masses in the beginning to get your money, okay? And then they want to keep you in their game as long as possible so you don't go play someone else's game so you have a chance of maybe some sort of microtransaction, DLC, cosmetic skin, whatever the hell it is. If it's not Borderlands, it's another game, okay? They're all trying to keep for your time. Your time is the goal. Okay. And if they can keep your time in their game, then you're not playing someone else's game. If you're not playing someone else's game, then they can potentially get your money more. Okay. Now, I said that the amount of drops that you get in this game, it seems like you're being overwhelmed with gear but most of that gear is absolute garbage anyway. You're going to be getting rid of 99.9% of that gear and keeping the 0.1%, and then try to get the 0.1% of the gear to go on your gear so you can actually use that gun. All right? For instance, in Borderlands 3, they were throwing way too much at you. We got a gun at level 7, and I used it till max gear. It was melting everybody. But guess what? It was fun because I was melting everybody with that gun. Okay? I got to use the actual gun that had a good roll on it and do this stuff. Okay? But do you understand? Like, if you're chasing a thing that you're never going to get, and like you said, most people won't even beat a boss 500 times, let alone 5,000 times, a 5% drop rate is absolutely horrendous. And people think, oh, it was like 15% drop rate. Sure. Okay. I think the biggest thing here is when he talks about, where is it? Right here, where he talks about, would be fine, 70%. No, that's not it. Okay, right here. This is the big one, right? The odds of getting the item 96 consecutive times at a 5% drop rate is about 1 in 137. In stark contrast, at a 10% drop rate, the odds go from 96 trials in a row are just 1 in 24,703, going from 5% to 10%. Isn't just doubling the chance, it's reducing the worst possible possibility outlier outcomes by a factor of 180. Right? And I get it. A lot of people don't understand the math. They don't understand the stuff. They just say, we got 30 billion guns to go for. Congratulations. Congratulations. You won't play the game long enough to get one cool thing as a purebred god roll that you're trying to get, if you're trying to go for that. Right? It's potential. It's there. They're telling you it's in the game, but you're never going to get it. But that's the thing, right? Okay. Tell me that there's people here that are still playing the game, which you are, okay, but they've lost 84% of their player base in 1 month's time. And this is supposed to be a game that's supposed to last, in their terms, months and years. Right? This is probably someone played one time around and was like, I'm good. Right? Oh, I'm good. So that's one story. And here's the other story. Because just when you think that you have a really good build, this is your 7-day notice of Borderlands 4 dev warns those insane boss melting builds based on the unintended interactions aren't long for this world. Okay? So if you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. So Borderlands developer has given fans a 7-day warning for those boss melting builds based on unintended interactions will be nerfed next week. Okay? You know that thing you're having fun with right now? That you're melting the bosses? Yeah, that wasn't supposed to be. You weren't supposed to be able to melt the bosses. The only way you're supposed to melt the bosses is by going for these rolls that you have a 5% chance of getting. Borderlands 4 is rife with overpowered builds, and they also use that developer gearbox to describe as the unintended interactions to cause massive damage. Even to the game's toughest bosses on the hardest difficulties, the most infamous of them is the crit knife, which Gearbox has said is aware of, but there's also many others. Gearbox has spent the first few weeks of Borderlands 4 life improving performance and buffing underperforming gear rather than nerfing things and stamping out these broken builds. But this time has come or for change. Okay, Borderlands 4 creative director Timmons took to Twitter and said that there will be some changes next week to specific gear for those unintended interactions. This is your 7-day notice. Next week's update will also include a host of improvements to stabilize performance and some highly requested quality of life changes Gearbox added over the official count. Hey, remember those people that said there's no problems with the game? They're saying they're fixing those things now. Remember when those people said that it wasn't unstable? Hey, look, they're fixing those things now, which now counterproducts what people actually said. Oh, I wasn't having a problem. There's no problems with the actual thing. What? So looking forward to next week, we're planning to do another round of adjustments that will focus on class mods, rep kits, shields, and also firmware being tuned to provide greater viability for melee builds and account deficiencies in other specific Vault Hunter builds. Gearbox said that we'll also address the unattended interactions with certain Vault Hunter skills to make adjustments to overperforming gear. Importantly, next week's update will also include hosts of improvements to stability, performance, and some high quality or high requested quality of life changes. So there you go. Let's see. Suggested one of the most unhated characters. Okay, yeah. So there you go. So if you're having fun, you have a 7-day notice, and this was on the 9th. So you have 4-day notice. You have 4-day notice, probably less than that, to have fun with the builds that you went through and got. And because you found that build and you're having fun with that build, they are now going to snuff it out so you can go make another build and have fun with that build until they figure that one's too OP, and then they'll nerf that one as well. You see how this game works? That's how the game works, right? You take your time that you have, you go get these builds, you build the things that you want to build, they find out, because you're testing it for them, that this is too overpowered, and because everyone now knows that that's overpowered because someone made a YouTube video of it, they have to snuff that out to go make something else so you to go chase, because that's the actual real game. Not have fun and make all the builds that you want. It's no, you can't have fun with that build. We got to make you have a different build. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Let's see. Windows says, the way I am playing is just to care about the collecting of all the legendaries, not specific perks, etc. on them. Nate says, second playthrough of Harlow. Okay. Waterbear says, maybe it's also a C tier, so I also don't see it happening, at least not anytime soon in the near future. Altern says, 84% of the people gave up. Nate says, this post must be old. Nope, not old. I just started back playing. It's just much better with the legendaries and the mods. Kind of drop for other classes. Orbit says, I love the good 1943 Rise of Hydra game. Oh, wait. Windows says, the way I'm playing is just to carry... Oh, I already read that one. Sorry. Nate says, I never waited. I never wanted to grind for 4 different characters, but I'm in this one, and I wasn't even really a Borderlands fan before this one. Some people's definition of fun is different. They want the best roles for the legendaries. World says, I don't know if I care to agree with this, but I obviously a very hardcore player, and the only speaks for a small percentage of people as a player drop. I think it's normal drop like every other game. No, Worlds. I think a lot of people, when you have a game and you say that you can have all of these roles, all of these guns, there's a lot of just saying 30 billion guns in a game. Even if there was 100% chance of dropping every gun from a boss, right? Just one gun from every boss or every person in the game. To get 30 billion guns is asinine, astronomical. Okay? Because for you to collect all 30 billion guns, never going to happen. Never going to happen. I never say never. Never going to happen. You would have to play so long for so many years, you would never, ever see all the guns that drop. Now, with all the different pieces and stuff on top of that, and the drop rate is that low, it's asinine. Okay? And just imagine for 1 second, you happen to put in 3,000 hours into the game. You happen to find the gun with the scope, with the foregrip, whatever's on the gun. You did all this. And then they come out and they tell you, well, that's not attended. We got to have to nerf that. Get out of here. Get out of here with that. So they're nerfing builds because they are broken. Fucking why? Leave it alone. Travis says, 30. I sent you Randy's response to all of this. An actual response? Or is it a joking response? Borderlands 4 says it's more developers better. Okay, so this developer better understood why gamers love making decisions about loot. Okay, so this is based on this. This is from the 13th. Okay. So Borderlands 4 Chief, Randy Pitch. I love reading Randy Pitchford stuff, by the way. It's always really fun Okay, say it more developers better understood why gamers love making decisions about loot. We have good competitors. Okay, so Chief Randy Pitchford has said that the developers better understood why the gamers love making decisions about loot. Gearbox would have good competitors. Pitchford also speaking up in an interview with BBC Radio 5 Live to discuss the release of Borderlands 4, Gearbox journey. Alongside the series' success, the outspoken developer, what was the success? They haven't said the actual number of people. The outspoken developers said that even though the Borderlands franchise will break through 100 million units sold with Borderlands 4, publisher 2K Games has yet to announce the sales figure. He insisted we suck because the 100 million is but a drop in the ocean of the total number of potential gamers globally. Our mission is to entertain the world, Pitchford said, which means we suck because we're only at billions of people in the world, and we got a lot of work to do. Borderlands with 4, we're also going to cross probably 100 million units sold in Borderlands 4 franchise. That's awesome compared to a lot of things, but kind of sucks, and the goal is to entertain the world. I understand, Randy. You want billions of people's money. I understand that. You don't want to entertain the world. You want the money. Okay, we've been working to Borderlands because if you made a really, really fun game, then people would buy your game. But if it's not fun for them, they're not interested in it. So it doesn't matter if there's a billion people. There's only 2.5 million people that are interested in your game. And it feels like we're also stating to getting pretty good at it. It feels that we're starting to figure it out and feel like they probed a lot of endpoints, but it doesn't think that we're also anywhere near the end of our journey. Pitchford then entered the rather philosophical debate about why people love looter shooters like Borderlands so much. This game also revolves around the hunt for better loot. In the case of Borderlands 4, billions of potential weapons are available, and players fuss over whether or not they equip something new that's also drop a stick with, or they already have, or even inferior. This is a constant loop of Borderlands games, which also packed with enemies, crates, chests, and even toilets that also spit out loot perhaps a greater extent than other looter shooters everywhere in Borderlands. And the player is consistently having to pause to wonder, is this the item that just dropped worth my time? Probably not. 99.9% of the time, just scrap it and sell it and move on with your life. Most of the time, the answer is no. But sometimes the answer is yes. Either way, as you play Borderlands and fuss over the of your build, you're always asking yourself whether or not the items will also help make numbers go up within the playstyle. Farming for these items is also all parts of the loot hunt, so many millions of fans also whole reason to play Borderlands. Borderlands games are turned into present and sort of loot conundrums by design, Pitchford explained, before saying that he expects the franchise to have more imitators because of how addictive this loop is. He says you're poking at some fundamentals in which part of what I think Borderlands the game has worked and does work, and why it's very delicate design is also, I think, one of the reasons why we haven't really been many successful imitators since the first showed us on how looter shooters could work in the original game. I mean, there's plenty of looter shooters out there, or looters out there, not looter shooters, but looters out there. Borderlands doesn't have the looter shooter genre to itself, of course. Perhaps some of the most high profiles of Bungie Destiny, although Sony owned a franchise, has also been better days. Other examples include People Can Fly's Outriders, no sequel in sight, and Ubisoft's Division, which is the best looter shooter out there. Respects your time. Best looter shooter out there is Division 2. Okay. It's also stretching the definition of looter shooters. We also might include games like Warframe, Remnant 2, and The First Descendant, Rocksteady's disastrous Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and perhaps the most high-profile of looter shooters' failures. Certainly Borderlands and various entries dominate the space. And it all comes down to nailing the gratification decision around loot in Borderlands. It is something, Pitchford said. Humans love to do it because it scratches an itch on the brains, and this decision is also a choice about to keep what they have or what to try something new. So we reduced it down to a simple moment, an interface with the system. Gratifying loop, the gratifying decision. Our brains need to do it, and our brains like they're doing it. Well, a lot of people get bored. So most of us, or Cortex is for, and why the adaptation exists, and it says also the skills version of it. We've reduced it down into design. And yes, there's a thing that's also looking better. The thing we got managing between the objective and almost scientific analysis of your choice versus the emotional impact of the choice and having those odds within the frequently and very interesting and I dare say addictive. Pitchford continued, I don't do it because of it's addictive. We do it because it's stimulating us and because we need to, because of a kind of need that. Maybe I'm at the age now where I don't care. Like if I play through a playthrough of Borderlands 4, and let's say I find, I don't know, 3 guns that I like out of the 30 billion guns. Obviously, 30 billion guns didn't drop for you. Let's say 1,000 weapons dropped for you in your playthrough of 40 hours, 45 hours, and you had 3 guns. I look at that and say, no, thank you. Now, did I have fun playing? Sure. But if I'm a person that's going for that thing, me personally, when I was younger, perhaps. Me at 47, I'm like, no, I'm good. Because I look at the time taken from me to play the game. Did I have fun in the 45 hours? Yes. Did I have fun with the 45 hours and only got 3 weapons in the 45 hours? Yeah, but do I want to do that again to maybe get the 3 same weapons or get 3 different weapons? And my answer to you is I'll move on to something else and play something else, right? But that's why I didn't buy Borderlands 4. That's why I didn't buy Borderlands 3. If I want to play for just the story, I'll wait for it to go on sale instead of, paying $70, $80, $90, $120 for that piece. Okay. It says, it's so weird. I fully expected after the first game came out that everyone would also be hip exactly what I mentioned. We've immediately seen lots of other games imitating and aspiring, but because they compete with a lot of other folks, especially back then, we were also scrappy underdogs. It says, certainly the critical reception of Borderlands 4 suggests that Gearbox has once again successfully presented a looter shooter that ticks all the boxes. 1 month. 1 month. I don't know if it ticked all the boxes. Pretty sure it didn't tick all the boxes. Let's see here. If anyone wants to speak with me today, I'll be in the Discord. I'm available to talk about video game development and how AAA making games in 2025, the future of games looks like. There you go. Got to ask me anything in our Discord. There you go. Honestly, because it's easy, Sarge. Vex build melts bosses within 10 seconds. Some builds do it in less than that. So that's good. You found it. It melts. Leave it alone. Right. If a build is like that and someone wants to use that build, let them use it. Who's it hurting? Fate says, anyone who used the crit knife knew it was going to get nerfed. That doesn't mean they should nerf it. It's a single player game. Are the NPCs calling up? Hey, we're getting our asses kicked in this game. Can you nerf that knife for us? Like, who's it hurting? Who's it hurting? Kind of defeats the purpose of learning the boss attacks, though. I didn't even care about learning the patterns. Or just threw my critical knife activated ult and then shot and killed with seconds. Great. So you did that, Worlds. So are you never going to go back to fight the boss again? So you're saying because you knew the thing was killing the thing super fast, so you used it because you knew it was going to do what it was going to do. And now you're like, well, it kind of ruined it for me. So the next time you fight the boss, you're not going to use something else. You're going to use the exact same thing to melt them fast. Why? This is why people shouldn't post stuff on YouTube or talk about it. I think that was doing them good the moment they use the same thing on the all builds because of that one thing. 2 things overshadow everything else. But if you, the player, decide that you want to use that, that's on you. If you're playing the boss, and let's say I'm using a different weapon, right? Just using any other weapon. But now the boss fight takes 5 to 10 minutes to beat. And you're frustrated. You're like, oh, God, I hate this. Are you going to go back and use the one that melt him real fast? Or are you going to beat him and go, oh, you know what? That was a really good fight. That was a really good fight with that gun. I'm going to try a different gun and fight him now. Or you're going to go, no, I'm going to go back and melt him again. Oh, this game's broke. That's you to decide. If you want to use the OP thing, it's OP. Use it and use it the way you want. Fate Walker says you can't even collect 30 billion. Bank only holds 500. There you go. Most people will just beat the story, drop the game. Also, people are also modding the game. Where every enemy drops a legendary or modding god weapons. The crit knife is a good example. The only ordinance you need it makes all others ones useless. Yeah, but if you want to use it, let them use it. You have a choice to not use it. There's 30 billion guns. But you don't want to use nothing else because you want to melt the thing. Fate Walker says, Battlefield 6 correction. I was wrong. It's 5 environments, 9 different maps that also can be selected out of the smaller game modes. Okay. I haven't gone back to a lot of the bosses. I'm still doing the side missions after being the main story. Are you using the stupid weapon worlds where you're just melting everything and then complain that the boss mechanics don't mean anything? I mean, you could just use a different weapon so you don't melt it as fast. That's what I'm saying. What's going on, Robert Jones? Oh, Luke. I'm not going to be able to play this afternoon. I forgot that my son's off from school today, so I don't have the time to do some gaming this afternoon. I meant to text you through Discord and stuff, but I completely forgot. It just hit me. I looked at the clock. It's 12 o'clock. All right, we got one more story. We'll stay a little later today because I want to talk about Arc Raiders here. Arc Raiders test is coming out this weekend. Comes out this weekend. Roic says, I actually stopped using the knife and looking for other things, and I haven't found some fun things to use. Oh, and have found some fun things to use. Well, hurry up, Roic. They might nerf it. And if you do find something that's really OP, shh, don't tell anybody about it. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. If I have criticism, it's that the other weapons and builds aren't good enough. The game needs buffs more than anything. You should never, in a single-player game, and this goes across the board, you should never, ever nerf anything in a single-player game. Ever. Okay? They did it in Helldivers, and they learned their lesson. Right? They've done it in other games, and they've learned their lesson. Never nerf in a single-player game. Let the player fantasy thrive. Okay? Let someone make the biggest destroying build or whatever it is. Do not nerf it. If it kills everything in the game and everyone wants to play that way, so be it. That's what they did. Okay? They're like, oh, we made 30 billion guns. And this one gun destroys everything. That's on you. You better buff those other weapons then, huh? I guess you better buff those other weapons. Never nerf. It's a single-player game. The NPCs are not calling the company up and going, "We're getting our asses kicked in here. You gotta raise up the thing. You gotta nerf the guns." Like nothing like that's happening. The only reason they want that is because they're like, well, because they can destroy all the bosses. It's gonna end the fun. No, the fun is melting the bosses, and they get to choose they want to melt the boss or not melt the boss. Who said anything about being mad? I'm just saying that I understand why some things get nerfed because of certain interactions weren't meant to work the way it does. People still be able to melt stuff. But why you nerf this, something else is going to be the next thing that melts things. So why nerf this if this is now going to be overpowered? And then they nerf this, and then something else is overpowered. And then you're just constantly chasing the thing. Like, in most games, if I find a giant sword, great sword, and I start using it, I'm like, you know what? This is actually pretty good. But then I find 2 daggers, and the daggers are just OP. Well, I'm like, I'm going to play through the game because I have these daggers that are OP. Let me see how far I can go with these daggers. And then the daggers don't do that much damage anymore. Well, then you have to find... That's game designed. If they can't do that in their game with 30 billion guns, well, then most of that guns then are all full of shit, aren't they? Luke says, don't nerf, always buff. That's exactly right. Right, and one of the build that melts everything I got, and yet I just don't feel I'm a die too easy. And don't buff the bosses. What's going on, Dolphin? In Expedition 33 taught me anything. Once you fix the system, they just break it again. Yeah. All right, so Arc Raiders reveals a unique way to deal with progression reset. Okay, so Arc Raiders reveals a new project system which also attempts to ease the controversy of frustration commonly associated with progression wipes in extraction games. I'm interested in this because the reason I don't like extraction games is because of that whole progression wipe type of stuff, right? So I don't know what they're doing here. So I'm interested. I'm going to play this weekend coming up, the 17th through the 19th. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on next week when I play through Arc Raiders, okay? But I'm interested in it because I was interested in this game when it was a PvE game. Then they switched it to a PvE/PvP game, okay? And I was like, I don't know if I'm interested in this extraction because I don't like my progress being wiped, okay? Just where I am in my life in gaming. I'm like, you know what? Respect my time, okay? If you don't respect my time, I'm not going to respect your game, right? Type of thing. So, with Arc Raiders set to launch at the end of October, there's sincerely a lot of excitement, anticipation from fans. Okay, from many online games, there's some sort of progression wipe, at least level reset, which also puts all players back to the proverbial starting line. For many survival extraction games like Rust or even Escape from Tarkov, feature some of this sort of progression wipe, with the latter typically happening every 5 to 8 months or so. With online multiplayer titles, progression wipes can also controversially element of players, with Embark attempting to bridge the gap with a unique way of handling this aspect of the game. Real quick, let me, Dolphin says, cheers. Finally a day off of work. Hope everyone is well. Thank you very much for the continued support. Was it 26 months? Thank you very much for that. Okay. And then Eclipse says, I paid for this like a week ago, and I forgot about happy 2 years of being a gooner. That's right. You know, I totally forgot last Monday or Tuesday? I just passed my 2-year anniversary on YouTube with this channel, so I appreciate that very much. Thank you much for the 24-month support. Appreciate that. There's your cheers. Appreciate you. All right, so Embark. He says gooner, but it's goonie. But, you know. Embark is adding a feature called Projects of Arc Raiders, which unlocks for players who reach level 20. The Expedition project will be on the 8-week repeating cycle starting from Arc Raiders launch date and running through December 21st. Embark also says completing the project will be a somewhat large time investment to work through. Though progress will be retained for those who don't quite make it to the end. Completing that project means a player will lose things like levels, skill items, inventory, workshop and crafting capabilities, and cosmetic achievements, and also award them will be retained as well as sort of a metagame or paid for items as well. Okay, so he says progression wipes are a big part of extraction shooters, so how will Arc Raiders handle them? Today, we have a message for you from Arc Raiders design director going over the account progression wipes and show more. Okay, so does he say, okay, while Embark admits that likely it won't be a cure-all solution, the studio feels that a traditional mandatory progression wipe in an extraction shooter isn't a good way to respect the time of players. Well, I just love that you just use those words. Right? A good way to respect the time of players. I mean, you've already got my respect for saying respect the time of players. Okay. However, for those who opt out to wipe progression, they also offer incentives like permanent account unlocks, unique cosmetic rewards, account buffs, and it lasts for the duration of the expedition cycle. The additional progression reset increased the effects to limit. It's worth noting that also the buffs will not offer a power or combat advantage over the others. Instead, offer a smoother progression system. Interesting. Okay. I'll be interesting to see how the community ultimately takes out this new system, with plenty of anticipation for the games thanks to its strong word of mouth and highly successful Arc Raider playtest. Earlier this year, in fact, Embark saw a bit of controversy over the summer teasing a major announcement that also expected them to do Shadow Drop. Oh, we don't really care about that. So there's a progress going over further. So if you complete this, it respects your time, which is nice, right? Expedition Project. So it goes into more detail here. Expedition Project, which brings us to Expedition Project. The tunnel networks connected to the Speranza is a vast, large, unexplored, inaccessible. Most survivors stay within the settlement, and the raiders who also dare to venture topside of those also dare venture even further. Once the Rust Belt was given, also offer raiders a choice to set out and beyond the borders. And now this has also been a one-way trip. In the full game, players will have access to a feature called Projects. At level 20, the first major project players will have access to is the Expedition Project. Upon completion, the project makes characters reset available. If a player completes a reset, they'll be able to do so to gain so long as they complete another of these projects. Okay, so October 30th to December 14th, it says Caravan Construction Supply Phase available. So if you complete that, okay, you get so it's making you go, okay, I'm going to reset. And if I reset, then I go back to 0, but now I have this set thing unlocked. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Okay. The Expedition Project will also operate as a repeating cycle, a rough 8 weeks during the course of these 8 week. Players can contribute towards a make progress on the Expedition Project, which overall is somewhat a large time investment. At the start of the 8th week, the ability to finalize the project will become available and remain available for the entire week. If a player has fulfilled all the necessary stages of the project, they will be able to commit and complete the expedition during this period. Should a player project not be ready during the window to complete the Expedition Project, their progress will be kept, allowing them to continue to work on the project until the next finalization window. Okay, I like this as well, because let's say I don't have a lot of time to play the video game, okay, and I'm playing the first 8 weeks, but let's say I play a lot for the first, 3 of the 8 weeks, and I don't play again for 5 weeks, okay? Well, I got up, I leveled up all the things to what I need to get it up to, and I'm short by like a week. All of a sudden, I missed the opportunity to unlock it for the first 8 weeks. But then the second 8 week comes in. So the December 15th to the 20th slot opens up now, and I can continue going up to the last one. And then once I hit it, I open it up, and then I can continue doing with the December 15th and 20th one, whatever the finalization was. I like it. There's something there, a little carrot there for you to keep going. Okay. Other projects may be added over time as part of updates, holidays, and other events. These will range in scale and reward structure. Okay. Is this an actual video? Oh, wait. Let's make this bigger here, shall we? So it looks like, okay, foundation, 1 of 6. Build the base structure and the frame of the caravan. So you need to get metal parts, rubber parts, plastic parts. So this is the thing that you're going in, getting the stuff, extracting from the things to put towards a bigger picture. Okay. Once committed to the project, resources cannot be retrieved. So basically all the resources that I got, I'm putting towards this actual thing. Okay, commit to resource, boom. So I lose all that stuff now. Next step, core system. So what this is what Marvel Rivals does with the comic books. Okay? So the comic book is, you want the different comic book cells to get the whole comic book, so you get the whole comic book at the end and get the whole story. That's basically what this is. And at the end, it's probably going to give you some sort of benefit at the end of it. Right? That's pretty interesting. So it says, what is kept? What is lost? So what do you keep through the expedition versus what is lost? Players will lose everything or anything inherited to the character's progress. Okay? Level, skills, items, inventory, workshop, crafting capabilities, etc. Players will keep cosmetics earned and purchased, award achievements, ranking, etc. Essentially, anything rooted solely in the metagame or involving real money will be preserved. Okay? For convenience, after completing the expedition, players will also keep and skip the majority of the onboarding for tutorial steps that went through the new players. This will also begin things to unlock certain features, maps, etc. as play through the early game. These will also just be available from the start of a fresh reset. Now, aside from the players who like the thrill of starting fresh, why would you be willing to give up all of this hard-earned progress incentives? Benefits and incentives. We all still finalize the exact benefits and rewards, but we also generally follow along of these lines. Okay, permanent account unlocks for each completed expedition. Unique cosmetic rewards for each completed expedition. For me, just the cosmetic rewards, not enough for me. I'm not going to reset just for some cosmetic stuff. You got to give me something else for me personally. Account buffs that also apply to the duration of the following expedition cycle. Okay. Sequential completions of expedition projects increase the magnitude of these buffs up to a limit. Okay. One point to drive home is that we're being very careful about nature of these benefits. Completing a reset should never give a player power or combat advantage over anyone else has not completed a reset. Okay. Initially, these benefits will center around cosmetics and bragging rights, quality of life, and smoothing out some aspects of progression for those who have gone through a reset. Okay, I got to know more a little bit about that, but sounds interesting. What comes next? Well, all these subjects that change between now and launch, post-launch, is all about the shape of it right now. We hope that by making a reset mechanic voluntarily and properly incentivized, we'll also observe 2 results. 1, players who are highly engaged can experience a game fresh on a regular cadence while also accruing some benefits. 2, a player who have less time to dedicate to the game don't have their progress reset outside of their control, and they're always able to keep moving forward at their own pace, and if they also so choose. That's me. I'm a player 2 guy, okay? So it's not silver bullet. It won't achieve a clean break of mandatory global reset does, but it does aim to be more equitable to all players, okay? Wherever the possible, a value of your time spent in the game as much as you do. Of course, this time is a complex topic, so we'll keep an eye on the discussion around the message and follow up necessary. So you go. I think it's interesting. I think it's neat. It's definitely got my my ears perked up a little bit because I'm like, oh, big. Because when you say extraction, I'm like, I don't care for that. Now, if I go into the extraction of Arc Raiders and I get killed and I lose all my stuff, but I still keep my resources and stuff to move towards this expedition, then I'm okay with that. Okay? I don't care about extracting that much now. Obviously, I want to extract because I get more of it. But if I can pull my stuff out without losing all the stuff and put that towards the actual extraction or expedition project at the end, now that's something that, gets me interested. All right, let me see what you guys are saying real fast. I'm so pumped for Arc Raiders. I love the text test, the tech test so much. I've never been like extraction before. This game can come out soon enough. Also be doing the reset, respecting the casual. 100%. The beta is open this weekend. It's open. The 17th to the 19th. It's open. Let's see here. Let's see a little thumb up in the corner. Gonna mash something. Hit that like button. Yeah, instant buy for me. I can't wait for the server slam, but I'm also so excited for this game. How much you want to bet? Let's put a little wager here. Not monetary value wise, because a lot of us, whatever. Okay, just hypothetical bet. Do we think that Arc Raiders? Okay, do we think that Arc Raiders can beat what was the top extraction shooter on Steam? Was it Hunt Showdown? Hunt Showdown Steam charts? That's 59,000. Arc Raiders going to blow past that. Let's see. Escape from Tarkov. What'd they have? No, that's not it. Is Tarkov not on Steam? It is, right? How come they don't show it? Or is it only off their own thing? All-time peak, 563,000. All-time peak, 2.8 years ago. I think Arc Raiders beats that. I think Arc Raiders beats the 563,000. I don't know if that's the top one, but I think it hits 600,000. So this is like House of Vigor. I guess I played Vigor years and years ago. Give me a reason to grind is fine. Give me a reward for grinding resources also fine. But making the grind for a possible perk and making the reset obtainable, the perk is manipulative. Is it manipulative though? I mean, you can do it if you want. You don't have to. And the reason they're doing it is that if you don't want to waste your time, you have something to go for. So yeah, I guess it is a little manipulative. I guess it's like, hey, if you finish your homework, I'm going to give you some ice cream. It's a little manipulative, right? But you're more likely to go finish your homework now if you can get some ice cream. You have to use those materials to extract with, though, in order to put them in that, though. Isn't there a spot in your backpack you could put certain things in that you can't lose, Winzo? With Arc Raider survival longer than the Cycle Frontier? I think so. I think so, Fate. It's only their launcher? Okay. I will say Arc Raiders gets 250,000 in Steam. Don't know if it'll bring in 600,000. That's too many players for an extraction. I mean, this one's got 563,000 all-time peak. But that's for Twitch stats, not for game. So I don't know what the actual game is. Do we know what the... I guess there is no peak, right? We don't know the peak. Well, I guess... all right. For Twitch stats, then. For Twitch stats. Not Steam, because we can't predict that. Okay? It's had 563,162 all-time peak for viewers 2.8 years ago. Do we think that beats it on Twitch when it comes out at the end of the month? Just 2 squares, and you use that free loadout with that. It gives a random stuff to go in when you don't have a safe box. Interesting. I'll say Arc Raiders. Already read that one. So there's no way. So you have to extract with those resources to get to that thing. See, that changes it again, because if there's no small little guarantee, like for instance, let me go back to this Arc Raiders post here. If I have, and I'll have to wrap it up soon here. Let's say I only had 2 wires or 2 batteries on my extraction. Okay. If I lose those and now I just wasted 15, 20 minutes and I got nothing, right? If I could put 1 or 2, so every time I do a mission, I'm getting like 1 or 2 progression towards it. You know what I'm saying? So it's sort of like in Helldivers. Helldivers is nice because, yeah, if I don't extract, I don't get the common resources or any resources, the rare or the super rare. Right? But if I pick up the metals, if I pick up the thing, I take that with me right away, regardless if I extract or not. If they do something along the lines of that, and again, I'm not asking for all 5 wires or anything like that. All I'm asking is, if I get killed, but I have 1 wire or 1 battery or 1 arc alloy or cooling fan, whatever the hell it is, that would be nice, because that would then cement me to go, oh, yeah. Stuff you don't get a safe box. Yeah. You can use the regular loadout. You actually bring your stuff into the match with you and have 2 safe box areas. You could also put in if you die. But if you go in with free loadouts since you didn't bring in your own. Okay, so if I could do that, fine then. I think the highest player count is 60,000 extraction shooter owns in Steam. That'll blow past it. 200,000. Arc Raiders will go to 200,000. If you need to put a timer on how long you have to be in the game before a peril resource comes in. Well, I mean, can go out. Explain that again, Fate. Explain that again. If you need to put a timer on how long you have to be in game before a partial resource comes in. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're saying if I need a wire, I need to be in the game for a certain period of time to get the wire. If you need to put in a mechanic, allow partial resources to go out. Right. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you leave with nothing, and let's say like Fate Walker said earlier, like when he was playing Battlefield 6, there was like 10 games in a row he didn't win. Not one win. Okay, now that's a game that you're not earning anything to extract from. This game, let's say I go 10, 12 games. I still haven't extracted. Right? I have nothing to show for it. I've been playing for 5 hours. I don't have one wire. I don't have one battery, one nothing. That's going to be worse. That's going to be worse. You get a mission that can also give you that stuff. Stealth missions are usually destroy something in the match. So if you do that, you will get that material even if you die. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I want to hear, Eclipse. Excuse me. That's what I want to hear. So you're saying if I go do missions and that mission awards me a wire, I get that. But some of the missions are extract with materials. I got you. But if I do a mission, I can get the materials from that mission and it automatically goes to me. But do I have to get the material? I have to extract with those materials then. But some of the missions are extract with materials. Okay. Well, I guess I'll find out this weekend. I guess we'll find out this weekend. 17th to the 19th, right? So we'll play a bunch this weekend. Is it crossplay, by the way? Is it crossplay on console to PC? Oh, and I forgot, scrapping the rooster every so often accumulates basic materials as well. And you can upgrade him. Well, there you go. Okay. It is crossplay? All right. All right. We went a little longer today because I'm not doing an afternoon stream this afternoon because we off from school. So I got to help my son with a project. Appreciate it very much. We're here live Thursdays. We're not live Thursdays. Well, we are, but we're live Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Appreciate it very much. Go check out some of our other content on this page on 30NSG, or you can go over to 30 and Still Gaming to watch gameplay. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can listen to our music that we play in the mornings. Before the show starts, I have an album out there. If you want to support the channel, instead of buying a hat or a t-shirt or a mug, if you want to like stream the music instead, it helps us out over here. Appreciate it very much. Like I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
They said it was the best deal in gaming. Oh, funny how best cuts your heart. I bought a dream, but the price kept climbing. Locked inside a system, all the fun was declining. Pay to connect, even solo feels like a test. Greed in the code, yeah, it never rests. Subscription chains holding me tight. All the value promised gone overnight. We played by the rules, they laughed as I bled. Greed's a disease, planting seeds instead. This generation will be remembered for greed. All I wanted was fairness, instead I got the feed. just runs dry. Studios vanish, but they still reach sky. Pain in floods while the fun slips away. Dreams sold in pieces, left in shades of gray. And on keywords dry gray. Every update promised a shiny new hope. Buried in fine print, they tightened the rope. We played, they profited. It's an old dirty game. Generation of greed. Remember the name. All the value promised is now all fake. Loyalty used, how much more can I take? Greed in the system, no one escapes. Players rise up, time to reshape. This generation will be remembered for greed. All I wanted was fairness, instead I got the fee. Remembered for greed, we only got the fee. Yeah. Greed in the code built into the plan. Microfiche ripped right from our hands. We loved our games, they love the cash now. Loyalty burns at corporate crash. This generation will be remembered for greed. All I wanted was fairness, instead I got the fee. The best deal in